Welcome back to a little bit of a different Animal Crossing New Horizons video from what I usually do. I'm Dear Darling, and for the past 2 years I've been uploading daily video diaries in New Horizons, and for the start of the third year I thought I'd do something a little bit fun, something a little bit outside of boundaries and a little bit different from what I do, and I'm going to do an ultimate Animal Crossing New Horizons villager tier list. Now there are 413 villagers, so that's quite a lot, so if you want to just find your favourite villager, my ranking of them, there's going to be timestamps probably in the description or maybe in a comment, and of course, I'm going to be 100% truthful, 100% facts, and 100% objective with how I rate these things. And if you've got disputes, if you want to disagree with what I say, then you can leave a comment and you can tell, so I can tell you why you're wrong. But anyway, let's get underway to this ultimate villager tier list of New Horizons characters, and we're already starting off strong because we're starting off with Admiral. He's a sailor and he thinks he wants to be a fisherman. He's very connected with nature and loves the open seas, and more importantly, he's very humble and he's not a stuck-up narcissist. So he cares about you, he'll relate to you, and he's never going to look down on you. And more importantly, perhaps, he knows a lot about making pickles, and I like pickles, so for that, I've got to put Admiral in S tier. Now, up second, and I suppose quite fittingly, we have Agent S, who is the number 1, number 2 in the entire game. She's the best sidekick anyone can ask her, and look at her, she's so fast, she's got motion blur in her photo, you can't even catch her, she can't even sit still, but she's got so much energy, and it makes her a fantastic dancer, because dancing is probably like 90% energy. I don't know if that's true, I'm not a dancer, so for that, and her namesake, I've got to put her in S tier. Following up with that, we've got Agnes, and Agnes knows the importance of wearing sunscreen, and that's very important. You know, you don't want those UV radiations, you know, damaging your skin, causing you problems later on in life. She's always going to remind you to put on sunscreen, and not only that, she's very good at cramming for tests. She might not be the smartest person in the class, but she's got heart, she's got spirit, and she's going to support you the entire way. And not only that, she's very cultured. Her Happy Home Paradise request, she's an appreciator of fine arts, and for that, we've got to put Agnes in S tier. Following on for Agnes, we've got Alfonso, and if you don't know, if you haven't seen it, there's an Animal Crossing movie called Gekijoban Dobits no Mori, and he's a star in it. I don't really remember what he does, I think he catches bugs in it or something like that, but he's absolute sweetheart in it. And you know, he looks up to Mario as well, and Mario is a fantastic hero, I suppose, for everyone to look up to. But unlike Mario, he's a very sort of grounded person, I suppose. Mario's off doing all these crazy, wild, wacky adventures. Alfonso, he just wants to stop and smell the roses. Look, he's even just watching a dragonfly flutter by in his photo. That's how carefree he is. So for that, I got to put him in S tier. Next, we have Alice. She's got lovely, brilliant blue eyes and adorable freckles, but, you know, she worries about them a lot. And in the infamous words of One Direction, you don't know you're beautiful, Alice, and that's what makes you beautiful. Even though it's kind of like a weird sort of parody, and don't think about it too hard anyway. She's very skilled at photography, and she wants to be a stylist, so she's got a very artistic side to her, and she's named after Alice Springs, which, you know, it's kind of like geographically the centre of Australia, I think. It's probably a nice place. Never been there, so I can't really say, but for that, got to put Alice in S tier. After that, we got Ali, who's a girl boss, but she doesn't gatekeep and she doesn't gaslight, which is the perfect combination. She takes care of her makeup and always makes sure she looks good, and then I don't know what lipstick brand she has, which it never smudges and always looks so perfect and on fleek, if you want to use outdated terminology, I suppose. And not only that, weirdly, she's skilled at yo-yoing. I don't even know what's up with that. She wants a mushroom photo, so she's got a little bit of quirkiness while also being a girl boss and slaying. So for that, got to put her in S tier. Following on from that, we got Owl, and he's lazy, but he works out. You know, labels don't get in the way of you know, his hobbies and that sort of thing. He helps kids with gymnastics to achieve their dreams, to, you know, do these crazy flips, and as a gymnast when I was a child, it's a lot of fun. He's a leisurely walker, probably a worker as well, but I don't really know. He likes to just walk around, smell the roses, and appreciate life. So for that, got to put Owl. You got to be in S tier. Now we got Amelia, and of course I got a little bit of Thorn Hollow bias, because she's always singing on top of Thorn Hollow Mountain. You can hear her lovely arias all the way from the southwest beach. She's iconic, like Amelia Earhart, who's the first woman to solo fly the Atlantic, and she's got a great poker face. And probably, you know, she goes to casinos and she backs up a large pot and that sort of things. You know, you've got to have a bit of thrill seeking in your life every now and then. And for that, I've got to put in S tier. She does gamble responsibly though, so bear that in mind. Anyway, next we've got Annabelle, and she's the one and only pangolin in this entire game. You might say she's an anteater. Well, technically yes, but, you know, labels are labels. Who cares about them? She's trying to make Snorty happen, and I respect that. This ain't Mean Girls. Stop trying to make Snorty happen. No, Annabelle, make Snorty happen. Also, our Japanese phrase is Majite, which is one of my favourite Japanese phrases because it just sounds so casual, it sounds so chatty and so fun. So for that, Amira, you've got to be S tier. Next we've got Anchovy, and this motto is all about relating to procrastination. Sorry, his favourite saying, you might want to, if you want to call it that. That's really relatable. Hashtag relatable. Everyone procrastinates once in a while, you know, or perhaps more than once in a while, depending on who you are. He's lazy, but he's actually very skillful at remembering stuff. So, you know, he'll probably remember your birthday. He'll remember to, if you ask him to do something, he'll remember it. Even though he gives you a much more lazy and relaxed persona. Also, he's got a hat. He wants a hat shop for his Happy Home Paradise customization to hide his fresh cut from the world because it's too powerful. He is too OP, he needs to be nerfed. So for that, Anchovy, you got to go in S tier. Next, we've got Angus. I just put accomplished and proud in my notes of it, so I don't really know what that means, but we respect anyone who's accomplished, who's proud of themselves, and that sort of thing. That's the confidence that we could all aspire to. He makes fire actually look cool, because, you know, the Animal Crossing definition of cool for some reason just seems to be a fire decal, but, you know, Angus, I think that suits him pretty well. His favourite saying is strong balls cry, and that's just good life advice, you know. Don't bottle up all your emotions, you know, let them out and that sort of thing, express them to people, and for that, gotta put Angus in S tier. That's just good living, I suppose. Next, we've got Anicotti, and she's an oversleeper, but she's still full of energy, probably because of the fact she drinks, like, I don't know, 20 cups of coffee a day. I wouldn't highly recommend that, but if it works at Anicotti, it works at her. She has a pizza party as a Happy Home Paradise request, and who doesn't like pizza? Everyone likes pizza. And she's green, but not mean. So for that, gotta put her in S tier. Oh, that's not S tier, that's A tier, sorry. What am I doing? Next, we've got Anka. She's the Queen of Egypt, probably? Or maybe one of them, I don't really know. She's like 3,000 years old, still staying. Look at her looks, look at her eyeliner. Fantastic, on point. And she's, you know, she's got that sort of like, what's that, Altair pose, praise the sun pose on the photo. I don't know what she's worshipping, maybe herself, and we should all worship her, so S tier for her. Next we have, hold on, what's your name? Annalisa. She's geisha inspired, so she's got elegant. Look at her in front of the cherry blossoms and that one like week or whatever they blossom in Japan. She even wants a secret supper club in Happy Home Paradise. What does that mean? I don't know. And she wants to be an astronaut, so she's got really high ambitions. And you know what? She can probably achieve them. She's very accomplished, and don't let her appearance deceive you into thinking that she's not someone who's capable of being an astronaut. Next we have Annalise, and she's got a tropical holiday photo, so she probably travels. You know, she's been to all sorts of places in Mallorca, Madagascar. I don't know why I'm only saying islands, which kind of start with M, but she's been places. She likes brain teasers, so she's sharp, you know. She'll challenge you intellectually, as well as your adventurous spirit. And she changes her style to stay unique. She always wants to be on the forefront of cutting fashion and all that sort of thing. So for that, I've got to put her in S tier. Next we have Antonio, and his favourite saying is always go for the burn. What does that mean? I don't know. I'm starting to forget some of my notes not being as detailed as perhaps they should have been. But he plays horseshoes, and wait, what's it saying? Nearly only counts in horseshoes. What does that mean to a situation? I don't know. Anyway, Antonio keeps it real, and he probably doesn't mind about the fact I've completely messed up his description and things here. So for that, I've got to put him in S tier. Now we've got Apollo, who's another Thorn Hollower, and he's literally, you know, based off a bald eagle. It's America, the greatest nation of the world. I'm not even from America. Anyway, he's a Thorn Hollower. He's in an Animal Crossing movie as well, so he's a big name. And he cares about you, despite his very stern appearance. So for that, got to put him in S tier. Now we've got Apple, who's just got the most adorable, cute, rosy red cheeks. Like a bright red apple, I suppose. She very much leans her name, apple-themed, everything. You know, you got to appreciate someone who really has a thematic and fits a thematic and completely leans into it. She just owns it. And unlike other actual apples, if she's bad, she's not going to spoil the bunch. Or barrel, as she says. Which, you know, I suppose. Feel free to change up sayings, I suppose, to how you want. And that's exactly what she does. Next we have Astrid, and I don't know if you know this, but she's a singer in a band, while also being a full-time mum, and that's respectable, I think. She doesn't judge, except by star signs, but, like, you know, whatever, and we can look past that, probably. And because she's a singer, she probably has a very sweet voice for lullabies, and I don't think anyone would want anything more than to have Astrid sing you to sleep every single night. So for that, we've got to put her in S tier. Next we have Audie. Apparently we have a lot of people starting with A in Fawn Hollow, which I've never really realised until just now. Anyway, she's named after that grandma maybe named after that grandma who spent like 2,000 hours or something playing New Leaf. That's dedication. And, you know, Audie has that same sort of dedication and loyalty if you ever speak to her. She's a bit of a party wolf because every day is worth celebrating. And for that, that's very optimistic. I've got to respect that. And she probably likes pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. So for that, got to put her in S tier. Next we've got Aurora. She's named after probably the most beautiful natural phenomenon herself. I'm not sure if you've ever seen Aurora Borealis on person, or Australis, depending on what, I suppose, hemisphere you are in the world. It is gorgeous. Anyway, she makes budgets, she wants to be a doctor, she's dependable, she's going to be, what's that phrase, making bread, earning the big checks, and having a comfortable life. And she has a stutter, but she doesn't let that hold her back. And, you know, she's very inspirational, I think, in that sense. So for that, Aurora got to be S tier. Next we've got Ava, or Ava, I don't really know how you pronounce it. And for some reason, she's like always on my Happy Home Paradise Resort Island. So, I don't know, I guess she knows how to relax, she knows how to chill out, and I've got to respect her for that. She always eats healthy, and she says that peeling apples is one of her special skills. And to be honest, she probably can do that thing where you peel an apple and it all comes up in like one beautiful rind. I don't know how to do that. Well, I mean, theoretically I would know how to do that, but I don't think I could do that in practice. And she wakes up early, so she's got, you know, long life. I don't really know what that means, but I'm going to put her in S tier anyway, so there you go. Next we got Avery, and he's like somehow time traveled to the future. You know, he's a bit anachronistic, is that the word? He doesn't belong in his time period. But he's still well read and he's smart, and he wants to be a professor and I suppose teach everyone about all sorts of different things. And that's, you know, we need more respect for teachers and professors and all those sort of like who help shape the future generations. He's got a very candid photo. You look at him, he's been caught in the act. He doesn't really know what he's doing. Maybe he's not so much of what's the word? He doesn't pose for photos and that sort of thing, but he still looks fantastic. So for that, got to put you in S tier. Who do we got next? We got Axel, and you know, he's the OG Fawn Hollow resident. He's been there from day one. Moved out now, but you know, he's on to bigger and greater things. He wants to be a dentist and run a sweet store in Happy in Paradise. That's double dipping, you know. He's going to give you the sweets, and he's going to fix your tooth decay. He's going to give you those fillings that you'll need afterwards. And also, he's got a fantastic catchphrase. Wonk! So, for that, Axel, you got to be S tier. Next we got Baabara, and she makes me think of that German tongue twister, which goes like Barbara buys rhubarb from something. I don't know German, so I can't really say it for you, but you can find it on YouTube. I'm sure you can search it up. Excuse me. Anyway, she does ballet, she's very graceful, and she thinks for herself, and she's not just a sheep, you know, she's a free thinker. So for that, Barbara, gotta put you in S tier. Next we got Bam, and he's probably got the most aggressive name and motto combination ever. I didn't write down what his motto is, so I don't know, you'll have to look it up for yourself. And he's the only jock deer, so he's one of a kind and can probably do a sick backflip. And you know what I think about backflips? Nice backflip. That's a quote that no one's going to understand, but still. Next is Bangle. Apparently she wants to be president, so if she runs for president, I'm voting for her. Her photo's prepped and she's ready to go and raring to go, and her stripes are kind of like bangles on her arm, so you know, fitting for a name. So for that, Bangle, S tier. Next we got Purrl, and he's a computer programmer, and you know he follows the standard, what are they called, like style sheets of naming conventions and that sort of thing. His code, always legible, always readable, always comments his codes, and always documents it. Fantastic practices. He probably knows all the best hotpot places in town, and he knows he's not that popular, but he's chill with who he is. He's comfortable in his own skin, and for that, we got to put him at a respectable S tier. Next we've got B, and she's patient, even when people sing the bingo song to her, because I think, you know, that bingo dog song, somehow it's relevant to her. I can't remember why it's relevant. I think it's her catchphrase is bingo or something. Anyway, she's not great at names, but aren't we all? You know, she owns it. She leans into it. She'll be upfront with you, being like, sorry, I'm not very good at names. I'm not going to remember your name, so if I forget, I apologise. And she's named for a beagle, but probably not one. But, you know, breaking stereotypes. As I said, labels. Who needs them? Well, if you want them, by all means have them. And that sort of thing. I'm not here to judge, and I'm not here to dictate your life. And you know who else isn't here to dictate your life? Beardo. Great segue, I know. But every time I see Beardo, I can't help but think of that one person who had him in his town and gave him that tout rap, and he absolutely rocks it, is what I say. He's a proper gentleman, he loves tea, I love tea, I'm British, I love tea, all sorts of tea, and you know, if you're walking along linked arms or whatever and you see a puddle, he's going to put down his coat and allow you to walk on his coat to avoid getting your entire ensemble wet. So for that, Beardo, S tier. Next we got Bo, and he's a handsome sweetheart just like his name. In fact, everyone fawns over him, and they're absolutely right to. Look how adorable Bo is. He loves going on picnics, and he's probably fantastic to relax with. Look at him in the Alpine Mountains. For that, Bo, S tier. Becky, now she's a top tier singer, she leads choir practice. I don't know what sort of skills you'll need to lead choir practice, because that has so many people you need to sort of micromanage at the same time, but you know, she's there for it. She enjoys classical music and probably can actually play Bartók's Second Piano Concerto, which is ridiculous, especially with feathers for fingers. She knows the modernism era, and it's not upset that you don't know it's a modernism era. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure that was a funny joke when I wrote it, probably at like 11 PM 2 weeks ago. So for that, Becky, you got to go S tier. Next we got Bella. She probably likes scream music. Either that or she's just screaming. I don't really know. Who knows the difference? Other people do, I don't, but she's probably fantastic to rock out with. She's a total skater boy, but she ain't going to see you later boy, and she always stays up late drinking black coffee. I can't really recommend that, but if it fits her lifestyle, more for it. So for that, she's got to be an S tier. Next we got Benedict, right? And he's just endearing because he's so forgetful. He doesn't even realise he's forgetful. He doesn't even know when he got his photo taken. He doesn't really know why the camera's here, but still, it's a beautiful photo nonetheless. But still, his skill is for some reason remembering things. I don't even know how it works, but you know, he's a mystery. He's a force of nature. Got to put him an S tier in that sense. Next we've got Benjamin, and in Japanese he's named after that famous dog Hachiko, who is the epitome of loyalty, who I believe kept waiting at a station, I think after like his owner died or something, which is, you know, that's kind of a sad story, but Hachiko, or Benjamin being named after him, is honourable in that sort of sense. And you know, Benjamin's got that loyalty as well, and he looks so nervous, you can't help but protect him, and he's a good dog and he deserves a treat, and that treat is going into S tier. Next we got Bertha. She enjoys picnics as well, probably, you know, accompanies Bo in his picnics and that sort of thing, and her catchphrase is bloop, which is absolutely adorable. For some reason I put in brackets here, but it's different in Asia, I don't really know what that means. And she loves twists in mystery novels. Even though if I might not appreciate mystery novels as much, she makes them sound enticing and entertaining, and she never spoils it for you. So for that, Bertha, gotta go in S tier. Next we got Bettina. She's got probably the roundest eyes I've ever seen. They're like giant saucers, and she could cook you a 5-star meal on it. She's ready prepped and ready to go. She's a fantastic chef, and if she's forgetful, she can keep up with a hectic kitchen environment. And if you don't mind, speaking of food, I don't know, that's not really good segue. I'm gonna have a sip of water because this is a lot of talking, it turns out. I hope you took that time to pause and reflect on who I've put in what tier so far, and, you know, typing up a comment and why I'm wrong already. Anyway, next we've got Bianca. She's got a winter aesthetic, she's a figure skater, and she lives in a literal winter wonderland. How amazing. She believes in love at first sight, and, you know, I'm hoping for Bianca to get her own Hallmark Christmas movie one day. She's high tension, high energy, and for that, she's got to be an S tier. Next we've got Biff, and Biff is buff, which, you know, is a very satisfying thing to say. And also, he apparently means beef in Swedish. How does any of that relate? It doesn't, but still. He believes in aliens, which I don't really know if that's a good or bad thing, but he wants a sci-fi lab, and, you know, if he's smart enough to run a sci-fi lab, that's surely it counts for something. Also, he's the same name as the ARMS commentator, and that guy from Back to the Future, so just by pure association, S tier. Next we've got Big Top, and he's part of that hero squad who wants to save the world, and he's not going to pick fights. He's probably the most merciful of a squad, and he might be a secret villain. In Wild World, he wants world domination. I don't know, but he's got quite the appetite. If you can tell by the fact that he's got a load of empty dishes in front of him. But for that, got to put him in S tier. Next we've got Bill. He's got the same birthday as Rover, and he's a professional athlete in an ambiguous sport, as most jocks seem to be are in this game. And he reminds me of that one streamer who spent like 2,000 Nook Mile tickets to try and find him, and how happy he was to finally find Bill. And, you know, that sort of love and respect that someone has for their favourite villager, you've got to put Bill in S tier for that. Following up for Bill, we got Billy, who's probably the most athletic grandpa that I've ever met. He's got an inspiring story of how he started on a couch and he ran to 500k, and he could probably teach you pottery while recounting tales of your youth. And you gotta love a grandpa like that. So for that, Billy, you gotta be an S tier. Next, we've got Biscuit. Biscuit, he's an absolute adorable cinnamon roll. Again, the Fawn Hollow bias is coming out again. He's got a meme t-shirt, and his photo is basically that Shooting Stars meme. You know, one goes like, dun, 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 dun. I don't know, I'm not very up with my memes, I'm gonna be honest. He's got his head in the clouds. He's a dreamer, and so am I. I'm idealistic, so for that, gotta put Biscuit in S tier. Bitty is a little bit of a fashionista. She probably makes her own clothes. She's loud and bombastic. She's got that confidence, and she's rocking it, you know, with her style and everything about her. And she gets the irony of her name of that, you know, itty bitty, but the fact she's a massive hippo. For that, she's got to go in S tier. Next, we've got Blair, and she knows the importance of practice. Practice makes perfect, all that sort of thing. She's very diligent in that sort of sense. Her Japanese name means silhouette. I don't know why I've got that down, but that's probably interesting to someone, maybe if you're learning Japanese. She used to have a fruit house and now has a fancy house. She's got very, very different styles, and for that, Blair got to be S tier. Next we've got Blanche, and she's very insightful. She immediately knows what you're like in an instant. She judges you your character, I suppose, in that split second, but will not judge you as a person, if that makes sense. She knows how to use a loom, and her birthday's on the winter solstice, so, you know, I think that gives you magical powers or something, and I don't want to upset her, so let's put her in S tier. Next up, we've got Blue Bear, and we've got to appreciate any villager who has a self-descriptive name. Very easy to remember, and she's as sweet as candy and associated with it too, and she gives bad advice apparently all the time, you know, as a bit of a mood. So got to put her in S tier. Next we've got Bob, and he's literally the first villager in the game. He's got a very sort of sly smile. Look at the weird sort of expression he carries around. He always looks like he's up to something, and he doesn't worry about what he does. He lives in a literal playhouse, and he's so chill that I got to put him in S tier. Next we got Bonbon. She's got a sort of bowl haircut, and she's rocking it. She does things first, plans it out afterwards, and I think a lot of people can relate to that sort of experience. She also does 1,000 calculations a minute, and they're all wrong, and then names about famous, was it Shen comics? Owl comics? I'm sorry, I can't remember what that comic's called. Everyone knows what I'm talking about though, probably. Next up we got Bones. He's a literal lazy bones, but you know, as a name implies, he's owning it. He wants a second childhood, you know, because one childhood ain't good enough sometimes for some people, and for Bones, he's one of them. I guess it wouldn't be a childhood, puphood? I don't really know what you'd call it. Anyway, he's got a cute spot over one eye. For that, gotta put him in S tier. And next we've got not just an OK boomer, but an OK plus boomer. And he's named after a character in Battlestar Galactica. That's probably important for some people, but I don't really know much about that. And he could probably actually do a barrel roll, and knows the difference between a barrel roll and an aerial roll, I think they're called. See, I don't know the difference, but he would tell you what it is. So for that, I got to put him in S tier. Next we've got Boone, and his baboon markings look fantastic, and he loves to watch the sunset while he's working out, and who doesn't? I mean, I don't really work out, but I do like watching a sunset, so you know, that's sort of like a halfway relation there, and he always aims to be the best, and that sort of aspirations is exactly why he aspires to be in S tier, and is in S tier. I guess that wasn't a very good segue. Next we've got Boots, and those boots are made for walking. He wears a jester shirt. He's a literal clown. He likes to make people laugh. Okay, he's not a literal clown. He's a figurative clown, because we have a literal clown, which we'll get onto later. He says tracksuits would be worn on all occasions despite this. Tracksuits are, you know, very casual, very relaxed and very comfortable, so I can't really blame him for that sort of thing. And he doesn't even wear his namesake. He doesn't even wear, like, his boots. I mean, I don't think any Animal Crossing villager does, but hey ho, here you go. You might have just said, was there a jump cut there? Absolutely not. And you know who wouldn't call me out on having a jump cut because I've been talking for 20 minutes straight? Is Boris. And he's always a jolly good fellow. And he makes sick beats because he's a music producer, if you didn't know that. And he's got angry eyes and a big grin. And for that, I've got to put him in S tier. Next we got Boyd, and he's either extremely confused or weirded out about the concept of photos, and honestly, mood. And he would absolutely help you move your house, no questions asked. He's probably even got a truck which you can, you know, borrow for that situation. And you know, he's completely satiated with just having a few pizzas or beers, you know, to tide him over. And also, licensed to operate heavy machinery. That's pretty cool. So for that, gotta put him in S tier. Next we got Brie, and Brie as a cheese is delicious. And she's incredibly neat and tidy. Her room is utterly spotless, and she has fantastic clear skin, and she'll give you her skin routine if you ask her for it. So for that, S tier. Next we've got Broccolo, and okay, this one's actually a bowl cut compared to whoever Bonbon last time who I said had a bowl cut. And if you didn't know, he's got a 3D printer, and he knows how to print stuff. I got a friend who also has a 3D printer, and he prints cool stuff, so I gotta assume Broccolo is pretty cool as well. Also, broccoli is a top tier vegetable, just like broccoli is a top tier villager, so up he goes. Next we've got Brofina, and she has a very interesting Happy Home Paradise request of wanting to be in a moment of waiting for someone to arrive. Turns out it's just a train station, but you know, maybe she just wants to recreate that old-timey movie scene at a train station where, you know, she's waiting and then like the train pulls in and there's like the napkins waving. Actually, I think the train pulls away from the station in that scene. Whatever. Anyway, she likes trains, so put her in S tier. Next we've got Bruce. He's a bit of a bad boy, you know, if you haven't seen his house, he hangs out in the back alleys, but he loves board games and would absolutely wreck you in Mahjong. He's not too fond of Strawberry, but he also loves nature, so you know, he's got a little bit of contrast going on, so for that, gotta put him in S tier. Next we've got Bubbles, and just like a Powerpuff Girl, she used to join with laughter. Hippos blow bubbles, if you didn't know, which is an utterly adorable thing to imagine, and I wish they did it more in actual Animal Crossing. Her motto is also telling you to shut up, apparently. I know what that's about, but you know, that's the sort of confidence and attitude that we like around here. So S tier she goes. Next we've got Buck, and he probably has a southern drawl, which is a really nice accent, I think. And he's fantastic at overdoing things, and he's probably really good at a little board game. That's not a board game. I don't really know what to call it. A toy? Buckaroo, which I haven't played in years, so he probably trounced me. So S tier he goes. Anyone who can beat me in Buckaroo goes in S tier. Look at him. This is Bud. He's a chill guy. You know, he shares a birthday with Leif. Bud and Leif. You kind of get what's going on there. And he's sweating because he's working out and enjoying the summer sun. What does that mean? I don't know. Put in there, S tier. Don't think about it too hard. Next we've got Bunny, and she's on that Animal Crossing New Horizons box art, so you know, she's famous, and she probably loves that. She's based on those like apples which you cut out into like bunny shapes. Apparently in Japanese called Ringo Usagi, which is just apple rabbit. And that's utterly adorable, I think. She's fun to be around, and she wishes it could be her birthday every day, just kind of like that Christmas song, but replace Christmas with birthday. So for Bunny, S tier she goes. Next we've got Butch, and he's got a really aggressive phrase, which is apparently Ralph with 5 O's. And that was so aggressive it actually hurt my throat, so I actually need to have a sip of water. I apologise. I will say I've nearly drank like a whole litre of water since I started recording this. It's perhaps a bit too much water, but whatever. Anyway, his house like a literal motorway, which seems a little bit dangerous, but maybe he likes to live on the wild side of life. And he's like an older brother you never had, and probably never wanted. But for that, you gotta put him in S tier. Next we got Buzz, and he's wearing a completely different t-shirt to his photo, which, you know, apparently he just owns at least 2 t-shirts, which is outrageous. That alone should be S tier. And it will be S tier, but you know, he's got other stuff as well. He always looks angry, and that takes skill. And he lives in a parking lot on top of a mountain. So if you want to, like, you know, have a little bit of climb up Mount Snowdon or whatever, park in this parking lot, go up Mount Snowdon, come back down. Next we got Callie, and Callie actually has an interesting thing with her, Callie, Sally, and I forget the other one who was originally named, but they have like a lot of weird sort of name swapping going on, because she used to be Sally, and that Sally used to be someone else. But anyway, her catchphrase is wee, so she's always having fun, and you know, life is fun, so why not? She's got simple pleasures, and she just wants a home to hang up laundry in. So for that, I've got to put her in S tier. Next we've got Camera Frog, and we can't even see him. He's not even in this photo, and he chose a fantastic background. Anyway, for a lovely photo to represent him, with just nice sort of foliage, and he could probably do 1,000 push-ups even while you're sitting on his back. I don't know why that's relevant, but that's a weird flex, but also. Anyway. Next we've got Canberra, and you can tell she's just oozing in confidence. Look at that pose, that side-on business-like pose. She respects a continental breakfast. Everyone respects a continental breakfast if you see that Key and Peele's sketch. I think that was about continental breakfast, I don't really remember. And she has a nasty backhand in tennis, and you know, I don't, so that's something I've got to respect her for. So S tier she goes. Next we've got Candy, and she's incredibly pink, you know, with a most intense blush. She's got an absolutely saccharinely sweet name and a catchphrase to go with it. Sweetie. She loves music and she wants to be a judge. You know, simplistic, nothing more to be said. S, sweet. That's what it stands for. Next we've got Carmen. She's got a smug smile. She looks good. She knows it. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Who cares? We got Carmen from Animal Crossing. And she also used to live on the moon in Animal Crossing. I guess she's like one of the moon rabbit folklore in Japanese. So for that, S tier. Next we've got Caroline. She's got a sunny disposition. She's got a sunny smile and a sunny design. She wants to be a cartoonist, so that's pretty cool. And I've done her Happy in Paradise customization. It's still one of my favourites I've done. Got to put her in S tier just for that alone. Next we've got Carrie, and she's trying to teach her child to be independent and instill good values from a young age. That's a respectable parent right there. She might look a little bit tired, but so would anyone raising a child, let's be honest. And she hates puns about her name, so we'll refrain from that and carry on into Cashmere. Now Cashmere is incredibly soft, and she probably is too. She's made from 100% wool, which is more impressive than anything. I'm not really sure what constitutes the rest of her. And apparently her peanut butter and jelly sandwich was so good, it was displayed in museums. I don't know how good that sandwich has to be displayed in museums, but that's S tier worthy, certainly. Next we have Celia, and her name means heaven in Latin because she's an angel. Aww. And she's a gentle giant according to Pocket Camp. And she could probably survive in the mountains. She probably lives in the mountains for all I know. So for that, I've got to put her in S tier. Next we've got Caesar, and look at that photo. He's got the mysterious allure that you'd see in, I don't know, like a 1920s movies or something. And he was apparently in the movie, but I actually don't remember him in the movie. But he was in Fawn Hollow, so, you know, got to give him that credit as well. And he would absolutely reenact Planet of the Apes scene if you asked him to. I haven't seen Planet of the Apes, so I don't really know what scene he'd reenact, but there you go. Next we got Chadder. He's kind of like Cheddar, but more Chad. And he's kind of like Chad, but more Chad than Chad. And he makes jokes about his names that his parents named him wrong. You know, he's got a sense of humour. You got to love him for that. And he's a true gentleman with a very dapper outfit. Yep, you're right. I couldn't see it in my OBS display window, but that is definitely like some sort of tux or dinner jacket he's wearing. Next we've got Charlize, and she's a sort of go-getter sort of girl. She's got personality shift from peppy to sisterly. That's a bit of character growth for her. She, you know, completing her character arc. And she's dependable, and even more so in sports. So first pick on your sports team. Next we've got Cherry with an I. And she's always very cheerful. She's very positive. It's in her name. I don't know what that means. It's not in her name. But she's also very scarily determined. You know, once she's got her mindset on something, nothing will stop her. And she embraces her red coloration fully. So with that, got to put her in S tier. Next we've got Cherry, spelt like the actual fruit cherry this time. And she's got a top tier photo. Look how sassy she's scheming something. She would stick up for you when times are tough. You know, she's a foul weather friend. As what? Is that the phrase? I think that's the right way around, right? Anyway, she's very fashion forward and she loves living that city life. So, got to put her in S tier. Next we've got Chester, and he's a panda, and pandas are so adorably cute, especially Chester. And strangely enough, he's probably a grandmaster at chess. Weird, huh? And he's got a house totally dedicating to eating Nagashi salmon, which, you know, I've got to respect and put him in S tier. Next we've got Sherman. Her sparkly eyes are incredibly precious, and you know, she also wants to live in a vault, so I don't know if that's either she's incredibly paranoid or she's incredibly rich. Both fair enough. And by the way, she's got this adorable friendship with Nan, if you've ever seen inside her home. So for that, I've got to put her in S tier. Got to put those best buddies in S tier. But we'll get to Nan in a bit. Next we've got Chief, and he's a very sly looking preppy wolf. Look at that preppy style. He's got a cardigan around his, well, I get, maybe that's an ascot. Yeah, that kind of looks more like an ascot than a cardigan, I think, but I don't really know. Anyway, he's way cooler than I am, and he cheers you on a Mario Kart in that Animal Crossing stage, and his house is like a street vendor or something, so maybe not as preppy as he might seem. For that, got to put him in S tier. Next we've got Chops, and look at that glorious moustache. He's like a nutcracker or something, or Royal Guard, I don't really know. Anyway, he looks incredible. He looks incredible and looks incredibly done with you, which is fair, you know. And been perhaps talking about his moustache too much, and there's other facets to his personality, so we'll put him up in S tier as a repentance. Next we've got Chow, and this is probably one of the best photos in the game. Look at that energy he's got going on. He deserves to star in his own martial arts movie, so for that, got to put him S tier alone. Also, he says "Aya" as his phrase, which is a fantastic thing to say. I'll give everyone permission to just say "Aya" when anything bad happens to you in life. Just go "Aya." It instantly makes you feel better. Also, his teeth are very healthy. Look at that. He probably practices good dental hygiene. Next we've got Chrissy, and she's one half of the iconic pop idol duo, and KK Bubblegum absolutely slaps. She's the younger sister, utterly spoilt by her older sister, and she's got polka dots everywhere, so S tier. I like polka dots. Next we've got Claude, and he's got very sort of suspicious looking eyes. I even wrote here, sus looking eyes, which, I don't know, I guess that's significance in some way or another. He's probably that guy who brings snacks to a board game. Like, he orders a pizza, you know him. He loves the snacks. Maybe he eats most of the snacks, but the fact he brought so much in the first place is more than makes up for it. Also, he loves cheese, and I love cheese, so put him in S tier. Next we have Claudia, who has a catchphrase "ooh la la," and I love saying "ooh la la" as a phrase. It's very fun to say. She lives in a penthouse suite, so you know she lives in a lap of luxury, and she has a short attention span. Her head's empty, and that's really, honestly, quite mood. So put her up in S tier. Next we've got Lane. Legitimately, he's actually got a really interesting design. I think he's based off some sort of thing which I did not write here, some sort of traditional doll-like thing that I don't know. I apologise, I don't have the information here for you, so apparently my research is not very good. Also, I just noticed he's not wearing clothes in this photo, so I'm not really sure what that's meant to be like, but you know, fair enough. He's got confidence in his body, and he wants to live in a haunted house, so that's pretty spooky. I love haunted houses, or at least a concept of haunted houses, so I'll put him in S tier. Next we've got Cleo. She's got a very simplistic Happy Home Paradise request. She just wants a cool bath. Fair enough, you know. Baths far more relaxing than showers in my mind. She's a literal girl boss. Apparently she's a CEO of 3 companies. That is insane. I don't know how she does that. And she's got cute sparkly anime eyes. But she's also your boss. I don't know what to feel about that, but I'm going to put her not in A tier, in S tier, because that's where she deserves to go. Next we've got Clyde. He shares his name with the best Pac-Man ghost. Don't at me at that. And who knows what his eyes are expressing. Looks like happiness in this photo, but you can never be too sure. And his catchphrase is apparently clip clop, which sounds like a really sassy clip clop. So for that, I got to put him in S tier, because you know what has 3 S's? Sassy. Next we've got Coach. He's got a 5 o'clock stubble. He always re-racks his rates at the gym. For that, that's S tier alone, I'm going to be honest. And he's a winner. Look at that photo. Crossing a finish line. I don't know who took that photo, but that probably was like a headline of a news article the next day. Next we've got Cobb, and Hot diggity dog is for some reason the only thing I've written here. That probably makes sense in some sort of context. He looks like an evil scientist, but apparently he's got glasses or just swimming goggles. Don't really know what's up with that, but S tier he goes. Next we've got Coco, and some people think Coco's a little bit creepy. I think she's adorably cute. She's got very vacuous eyes. She reminds me of Gyroids, and Gyroids are fantastic. I will say Gyroids look a little bit different in this game, apart from Lloyd, so, you know, I guess reminds me of Lloyd. Might be the New Horizon accurate way of saying it. And she's so probably like unfazed by anything. Gotta put that in S tier. Next we got Cole, and he looks always incredibly surprised. He's like, whoa, what's going on? He likes to chill on the beach and just wants to eat watermelon and ice cream. Gotta respect that. Both delicious things to be eating at all times. Next we've got Colton. His catchphrase is check it, and it makes me feel like he's going to start rapping. He doesn't really look like a rapper, but who am I to judge? He revels in attention, and who wouldn't when he looks like Prince Charming? So that, gotta put him in S tier. Next we've got Cookie, and she probably actually makes fantastic cookies. And I like to think I make good cookies. Her cookies probably blow me out of the water. She's as cute as a button and sparkly eyes, full of hope in you. So I've got to put her in S tier, just for believing in me. Next we got, I don't know how to say this, Cousteau or something, and his catchphrase is like wee wee, which is, you know, I don't know, that's kind of funny. He's a fantastic chef and probably can cook amazing food. I think he's got like a Chinese restaurant as one of his either he lives in it or is Happy Women Paradise thing, and so he can probably make Hong Shao roll, which is delicious. He's got a top tier mustache, and for that, got to put him in S tier. I was going to say what S is in French, but I don't know what it is in French. I think it's just S. So that's not very interesting. Next we've got Cranston, and he's the epitome of work smarter, not harder. You know, he's probably a secret genius inventor, and if ever you want someone to do a job, you hire a lazy person for that job. I think like Bill Gates said something like that. Anyway, he appreciates rice, so put him in S tier. Next we got Croc, and he apparently makes fantastic ramen. He's a beautifully lovely autumn house to meditate in, and he's based on Bodhidharma, which is inspired by traditional Daruma dolls. So, you know, I don't know what that means all that much because I don't remember anymore. It's been a while since I've written these descriptions, so I apologise if I don't. Not all of these things are on the forefront of my mind, but he's S tier anyway. Next up we got Cube, and he's lucky number 100. His head empty, lost in his own world, single brain cell, just like me, and he loves the environment, zero carbon footprint, I don't know, and he probably still owns a Nintendo GameCube from when he got one from when he was a wee child, so for that, gotta put him in S tier. I love the GameCube. Anyway, Kurlos, he was cranky, now he's smug. More character growth, just like Charlie's, probably. He wishes it could be Toy Day every day, because he wishes it could be Toy Day every day. Also, he's got a nice sort of colon-free face, so I actually got to put him up here. He's actually got the perfect colon-free face, because he doesn't have a nose like a colon-free. Fantastic. Anyway, Curly, rosy red cheeks, and he deserves more compliments for his self-esteem. He's got low self-esteem. Everyone, say something nice about Curly. Curly, you're fantastic. You're S tier, and he's based off Curly from Three Stooges, probably. Next we've got Kurt, and he understands the importance of savings. You know, he's financially safe and financially risk-free, and that I've got to appreciate. He shuts down people being rude immediately, and his bandage on his head looks pretty cool. So that he's going to be a great friend and pal to have. Next we've got Sid, and he's probably got the sneakiest expression all the time. Look at his eyes. He always looks like he's up to something. He's a punk rocker at his heart. He's got a sick mohawk. I don't know if elephants can really get mohawks like that, but he's got one. He likes to rock hard, but he never has his speakers too loud, and he respects, you know, people going to sleep at usual hours. So he's not going to play music at like midnight or 11 PM or anything like that. Party hard, but be respectful. Next we've got Cyrano, and as his photo would suggest, he probably has a black belt in something, karate, taekwondo, I don't really know. He's got a really cute scene of being in a pitfall in the Animal Crossing movie. That's the only thing I really remember from him. And he has to constantly deal with a sneezing catchphrase, you know. I've got constant coughs, he's got constant sneezes. We can relate on that aspect. Next up we've got Daisy, and look at all of his books. She's probably actually read all of his books, and she's very sweetheart and cooperative instead of competitive, which I relate to on a very big level. And she always leaves out cookie and milks for Jingle, which is utterly adorable. You know, if she still believes in Jingle, I do too, so put her in a nest here. Next we've got Dina. She's a fantastic music teacher, and I've had some fantastic music teachers in my life. Woo woo is such a weird catchphrase for her to have, but you know, I love it. And she's good at blowing bubbles. I'm not very good at blowing bubbles, I don't think, but if she's blowing bubbles forever, she's got to go in nest here. Next we've got Deirdre, and she doesn't mind what you don't know how to pronounce her name. I think it's Deirdre. It's either Deirdre or Deidre or something like that. Anyway, she's got strong legs and a strong heart, and she might be named after Deirdre of the Sorrows Irish folklore. I don't really know much about that, but if you're Irish and you know more about it, please do tell me more, because I'm putting her in nest here for that. Well, not for that, for everything else as well, I suppose. Next we've got Deli, and he's rocking that sweater vest. He's got righty-tighty, lefty-loosey as his favourite saying. That's a good thing to remember. And the amount of times I've said that in my life to remember how to screw in something is uncountable, is probably what I'd say. He loves curry. I love curry. Japanese curry, Indian curry, Thai curry, love them all. Put him in S tier for that. Next we've got Dal, and he looks like he doesn't even want to be in that sailor outfit, but it's fantastic. He's rocking it, and he gets distracted while shopping. I get distracted while shopping. Window shopping is just so fantastic, looking at all the different sort of things that I would never be able to afford. Anyway, he's like a robot alligator. He's got like air vents on his side, which I used to have him in Wild World, and I never noticed that, but I gotta put him in S tier for that. That's cool as heck. Anyway, next we got Darwin. He looks nerdy. He owns it. And he's got a gorgeous photo. Look how dapper he looks. Also, his catchphrase is "durr," which is hilarious. So I've got to put him in S tier, not A tier for that. Next we got Diana, and she's very sophisticated. She's a classy lady, and her makeup and fashion always on point. And also, I apologise for my very, very strange Happy in Paradise customization I gave to her about one time. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to scroll up there. So for that, got to put an S tier. As a repentance, but she'd be S tier even if I didn't make a really bad Happy in Paradise customization for her. Next we've got Diva. She's mid... Oh, sorry. It's punched my mic in. She's mid-aria, which is a very common crossword clue. You know, aria. It always comes up in crosswords. I have no idea why. Anyway, she's totally unfazed by anything, and she's absolutely serving us on the KK Milonga album art. I don't know how to pronounce that. I apologise. Next up, we've got Dizzy, and he's an adorable little baby. He's always excited to play with his woo catchphrase. And apparently he's very skillful at chugging milk, which seems dangerous, because seeing as there's like a milk challenge a while back. So, Dizzy, please take care of yourself. I'm going to put you in S tier, though. Next, we've got Dobie, and he's very spiritually meditating all the time. He looks like a wise old grandpa, you know, that old sensei. And he went to a ski chalet just to read books at one time. Fair enough. I haven't been to a ski chalet, so he's got one up on me. And he's an accomplished writer, and he probably wrote your favourite book, you know. 1984, he wrote that. In the Animal Crossing universe, maybe. Animal Farm, he wrote that. And I'm trying to think of other books. Catcher in the Rye, he wrote that. Maybe. Anyway. Next we got Doc, and what's up, Doc? Sorry, I can't do a very good Bugs Bunny impression. He's got a fantastic, incredibly library house, which is probably a lot of introverts' dreams. And he's the only lazy villager with an education hobby. So he may be lazy, but he's smart as well, and well educated. S tier, right there. Next we got Dom, and I don't think I'm alone in saying that Dom needs to be absolutely protected at all costs. Look how adorable he is. He looks like he wants to give you a hug. He's got his arms outstretched and everything. He always wants to be his best self, and he's trying hard at that, and I've got to respect him for that. And he looks sad, but he always keeps his head up, held high. S tier for that. Look at his perseverance. Next we've got Dora. She apparently alphabetizes napkins and plastic bags. I don't know how you do that, but she somehow managed to work it out. She grows her own herbs, and she loves recycling and reuses gift wrap, so she's very eco-friendly. So that, Dora goes in S tier. That didn't rhyme. Next we've got to be Dottie, and she wants to be famous. But you know, Dottie, you're already in famous. You're in a video game. That's famous enough for me, I think. Don't make her angry. She gets red eyes. That's very spooky. And she always has a good hair day. But it's a joke. I can't really take credit for that. So, you know, take her in S tier. She's a comedian at heart as well. Next we've got Drago, and he's an actual dragon. He's also got, you know, the same sort of pose that Chow has when he was doing that sort of karate kick. And he's a fearsome beast, but he's actually just really chill. And, you know, have I said he's a dragon yet? Dragons are S tier. Like, dragons alone are S tier. And like, if I could just put another square here saying dragons would be S tier. But he's the only dragon in Animal Crossing, so there we go. Anyway, we've got Drake now. Next, he always looks a little bit suspicious to see, and to be fair, I don't know who he is. We've never met in Animal Crossing, any of the Animal Crossing universes, so I understand he's a bit suspicious meeting you for the first time. He's obsessed with bread, which, by the way, you probably shouldn't feed that much to ducks. I believe bread is kind of like fast food equivalent for them, where it's like empty calories or something. I think you're meant to like feed like seeds or lettuce or something. Don't quote me on that. Probably do your own research on that sort of thing. Anyway, he's constantly hungry, which is a mood, so I'm going to put him in S tier. Next we've got Drift, and look at that bright beaming smile he's got, and very piercing eyes is probably how I put it. He has an awesome workshop DJ station house. You know, he probably is the MC, the DJ for your favourite radio station, and he's based off a redback poison frog. I don't know anything about it, but that's pretty cool. I always like it when they're based off real life animals, so S tier, you go. Next we've got Ed, and he's probably into some sort of deep thoughts. He's got deep thoughts about indie music. His eye makeup, on point. He's a photo of himself in his home. That's self-confidence. Or you might say that's vanity, but I think that's self-confidence. And you know what self-confidence starts with? S tier for him. Next we've got Egbert. He's a bit of a night owl, or night chicken, I guess, because he's always staying up late. But he still gets up early to crow, so I don't know how he functions on probably like 4 hours of sleep. So, you know, good for him. If that's all he needs and he's completely happy with that lifestyle, fair enough. He likes even numbers, since he seems to have so much requests about it. I think even numbers are quite nice, so S tier he goes. Next we've got Elise. She's got fashionable glasses, always a plus. Even her Happy Poem Paradise customization is all about selling fashionable glasses, and she'll probably pick up glasses that actually suit your face. Elise, I need someone to pick up glasses to suit my face. I've got quite a long face. What do you think works? I don't know. She seems to have 27 hours in a day with what she does, so for that, gotta put her up in S tier. I'm going to have to pause every 20 minutes, otherwise my voice is actually just going to die. But anyway, Ellie is the next character, and the next villager even. And she doesn't mind I had to pause there. She's got those, what's that era called? The early 1920s sort of cartoons? The Rubber Hose era, that's it. Eyes like, you know, Betty Boop, Mickey Mouse, that sort of thing. She's got a mini cafe in her mobile home. She's got sweet tooth. She can make fantastic sweets. Gotta put her in S tier, because sweet starts with S. Anyway, Elmer, he wants like a sock store or something for his Happy Home Paradise customization. I don't know, socks are warm, that's pretty cool. It's also a crazy move for his parents to name him after, like, a glue. That just seems... I don't know, but he probably forgives his parents that. He also calls you Tenderfoot, which is an experienced ranchman, and to be honest, I am an inexperienced ranch worker, so... What can I say? Eloise, the default Happy Home Paradise villager, everyone's giving her reading room. She has so many reading rooms all around in multiple dimensions and universes. Fair enough. She's not a morning person. Not everyone's a morning person. Am I a morning person? I'm going to say I'm not a morning person, but I'm not a morning person. Anyway, she's got a very sideways smirk, so we'll put her in S tier. Because sideways smirk starts with S? I know. We've got Elvis. He's a literal king of a jungle and king of pop. Look at those battle scars. He's defended his kingdom. He's a leader, not just someone who sits on the sidelines and says they're a leader. And he demands a literal castle as Happy Home Paradise customization. So that I'll give him the tier ranking equivalent of a castle, which is S tier. Next we've got Eric, and he's a sweetheart moose, or elk. I don't really know the difference between them, to be honest. And he's an honorary fawn hollower, or ex-fawn hollower, I should say. He gets mistaken for Jingle all the time, but he doesn't mind. I'm sure he'll give you a toy anyway, if he's got one on hand. And apparently touching his sideburns changes you forever. I don't know what that means, so I'm going to put him in S tier. And if you got Eric on your island, touch his sideburns. Tell me what that's like. Next we've got Eugene. He's probably the coolest koala on the block. Look at his photo. He's actually rocking out. He's probably singing you a sweet serenade. Probably literally the most stylish villager in the game. And apparently touching his sideburns changes you forever. Wait a minute. I read the wrong thing. That makes sense. I was like, touching his sideburns changes your life forever. Sorry, Eric's one is he lives in a literal ice house. And the cold doesn't bother him. The cold doesn't bother him anyway. That's my bad. I'm not very good at reading. This is what 46 minutes of talking non-stop about Animal Crossing villages does to you. Anyway, we're on to Eunice, and they're probably extremely fluffy, doubly so with a cardigan. That's like fluff on top of fluff. That's cheating, is what I'd say. They enjoy hot drinks on cold winter days in a cozy cabin. I love that too. And every encounter has a point, including meeting her. Isn't that the most heartwarming thing you've ever heard? Well, Esther, you go. And we've got Fang next. He's got some mysterious eyes. He's a tough guy. Don't mess with him. And despite his very sort of monochrome body palettes, he loves to wear flashy, colourful colours, which you might not expect from him. So Esther, he goes. Like that. Break the norm, Fang. Break the norm. Next, we've got Fauna. She's truly the most darling of all deers, and I invited her to my island just today. And she looks like a deer in the headlights with her sort of bright, like, eyes and black ring eyes. I don't really know how to describe them. And little fact about her, she's an absolute card shark. She'll smoke you in any card game. That's scary. I'm going to put an S tier just for that. Well, just for everything. Every time I say just for that, it's actually just encompassing everything, to be honest. Next we've got Felicity, and Felicity means happiness, and her peppy personality very much reflects that. She gets along with old folks. She probably goes to, old folks' homes and entertains them, talks to them, and actually relates to them on a personable level. And one day she wants to be a talk show host, and I think she'll make a fantastic one. A very personable sort of cat. So S tier she goes. Next we've got Philbert, and his eyes are full of wonder, looking at the stars above. And he's basically in a constant state of dreamland in both Pocket Camp and his house. I don't know really what that means. I assume his house looks like a dreamland. And curse past me for being so vague of what I've written here. And he wants to teach driver's ed, which would be great because I don't know how to drive. So S tier, teach me, Philbert. Next we've got Flip, and just like his name suggests, he could probably actually do a sick flip. He's always constant celebrating, summer festival, Matsuri, I think that's what it's called in Japanese, I forget, and probably runs the best summer festival stores of all time with the fantastic food, the top tier food, the top tier entertainment and games. Next we've got Flo, and one of the OG Fawn Followers, a mascara game on point, and she has my birthday as well. So that, S tier alone. S tier is enough. Just showing my birthday is S tier. She's also the only villager, I believe, who shares my birthday, so that's awesome. Next we've got Flora. Her house is fantastic if you haven't seen it. It's a load of plastic flamingos around a pond, because if you can't tell, she's a flamingo as well. I suppose that's family, and I believe flamingos are social creatures, so, she wants to have company in that sense. She's got a fantastic poise by being able to balance on one leg, and look how precious her photo is. It's utterly adorable. Esther, oh, sorry, it's a little bit cut off over there. Next we've got Flurry, and she leans into her name of being very sort of winter and snow related, seeing as her Happy Home Paradise request is Flurry's House of Flurries, which, it's, I suppose you could interpret it as House of herself, but it's, I think, a winter-based house. I don't know, I haven't actually done it. Anyway, she's too trusting. She's an absolute sweetheart, Matson. She's gullible even, and she also doesn't have a nose, so I'm going to put her in S tier for that. We've got Francine. She's the other half of iconic K-pop, not K-pop duo, KK-pop. But Idol duo, KK Bubblegum, still slaps. She's very protective and doting of her little sister, and she even has a photo of her sister by her bed. That's how loving her older sister she is, so put her in S tier for that. Next we've got Frank, and he's got a very powerful side-on pose. Look at that. He wants to be a good sport and gets along with Squabble, and still squabbles with ref? What does that even mean? Oh, he wants to be a good sport and gets along, but even though he still squabbles with a ref during sports. That's what I mean. And today is the last day of the rest of her life, is his quote, which is kind of ominous. I don't really know what to make of that, so we'll put him in S tier, so, you know, who knows what he's got going on in his mind. Next, oh, excuse me. Next we've got Freckles, and living up to her name, she's got freckles. Doesn't get more simple than that, is what I'd say. Her eyes on the side of her head, so she's not a predator who will eat you like everyone else in this game in Animal Crossing. And she like fell in love with a fish or something, is one of her stories. I don't really know what's up with that, but S tier you go, Freckles. Next we've got Freya, and her eyeliner and eyeshadow, both on point. Fantastic. She has a crazy sense of smell, and probably a super taster as well, because she is a pro chef, and she's the Norse the Norse goddess of beauty, and she's living up to it. So S tier she goes. Probably one of the prettiest, I will say, Animal Crossing villages as well. We've got Frida, and she doesn't believe in fortune cookies. Fair enough, neither do I. I don't also have Chinese takeout all that often, so I can't tell you when last time I've had a fortune cookie. She loves to watch movies, if her Happy in Paradise request is anything to go by, and she doesn't dwell on her mistakes. She loves life to the fullest, you know. Live life with no regrets, but, you know, learn from your mistakes is probably a good sort of balance that she likes to stick to. Next is Frita. She's hard committed to liking food. I think she wears a diner outfit, and she also wears like a hot dog suit or something. I can't really record off the top of my head. She recreates fast food meals at home, and she probably has healthy alternatives if you don't want all the high amount of saturated fats that often are in this food that you get from fast food chains. And she's got a heart of gold and wool of gold too, which, you know, that probably sounds like something from a fairy tale, doesn't it? Next we've got Frober, and he'll absolutely skyrocket your self-esteem. He's the sort of guy to build you up, you know, egg you on. And that's, you know, everyone needs that sort of like wingman flipper man, I don't know, in their life. He's got adorable back teeth, and he's always looking up because he's got a positive mental attitude, PMA. Next we've got Fuchsia, and she's shockingly pink. Well, I guess that's not shocking given her name and all that sort of thing. She's strong-minded, she gets things done, well, once she's finally decided what she's actually getting done, and she absolutely will teach you how to disco, because she's on the cover for KK Disco, if you didn't know. It's probably her forte of a dance style, so I've got to put her in S tier for that. Next we've got Gabi. She's got a very comfy and cozy photo, and it actually feels like her photo is much more of a scene compared to most of other people's who are just a portrait. She tried to sing you a song over a letter once. I don't know how that worked out for her, but I'm sure it went okay. She's quite literally the gift of a Gab with how much she talks. So Gabi, S tier for her. Next we've got Gala, and she's got innate flower accessories in her hair, or like tattooed onto her head, inscribed on her head. I don't know, don't think about it too much. Very pretty though. She works at a bank. She's probably a CEO. She's got like six figures, 7 figures. I don't really know. And she's good at saving money, and then she splurges it all on books. Literal piggy bank. But anyway, S tier for her. Next we've got Gaston, and no one's slick as Gaston, no one's quick as Gaston's. Je voulais une moustache just like Gaston. He likes to live a simple life, and he's got a very sort of bare bones house, and that's fair enough, you know. If he wants a minimalist lifestyle, who am I to take him away from that? But I've got to put him in the top tier for that, and for everything else as well. Next we've got Gale, probably the most heart-based villager you have. Lesson freeze, as far as I can see. She's only happy when everyone else is happy, you know. Love makes the world go round, and Gil is very much a proprietor of that, and she's fully embraced her fluffy, lacy style, so S tier she goes. Next we've got Genji. He writes his own haikus, he lives a hot, and like half his flavour lines are in haikus. Like, I think his catchphrase, his favourite saying is, and like some of his descriptions are all in haikus, which is, you know, that's commitment to the bit, I've got to say. His favourite saying is 4 down, 7, get up, 8, which is, you know, not quite right if you think about it, but it's a very inspiring Japanese saying to basically keep on going. Because if you fall down 7 times, get up 8, I guess you got to get up I guess you had to be starting from the floor, which is fair enough. So maybe it does make sense. Genji, S tier. Oh, he's also a Grandmaster at Go. Actually, now I think about it. Is it ranked like on a Grandmaster scale for Go? I mean, that's definitely chess terms. I don't know if it applies to Grandmaster. I assume it does as well, but I didn't actually check that, so sorry about that. Next we've got Gigi, who's the fanciest frog around, and she's got some very glossy lipstick. She's quite literally got stars in her eyes, and she has stars in her eyes in her hopes and dreams and aspirations because she wants to be a fancy movie star, I believe. And she's probably starred in like 50 different movies, so I guess, you know, she's achieved a goal already. S tier she goes for superstar. Next we've got Gladys. She makes her own clothes, and she'll probably weave you some as well. And she's probably one of the few villagers who actually knows how to put kimono on, which is you know, I don't know how to put kimono on, so that's definitely something she's got up on me. She's based off a red crow crane, which is a symbol of longevity, and also the animal symbol for Japanese airlines. I know because I talked about it in my speech for Japanese class once. Next up, we've got Gloria, who's apparently based off Gloria Swanson, who's a famous 1920s American actress. I don't really know much about her, but that's good for her. She believes she's a swan, and girl, be who you want to be, Barbie girl. And she prefers function and form, and you've got to respect someone who appreciates both. Why choose, is what I say. Next we've got Goldie. She's a golden retriever who are probably some of the happiest dogs in existence from the few I've ever met. Her fur is fluffy and it smells nice. Probably has a nice shampoo, which she'll let you know if you ask her. I know, probably don't ask her about it, but it's a bit of a weird thing. She's insanely popular as well. So, S tier. Because popularity alone, and popularity is a good sort of indicator of where they should be. What I'm trying to say is she popular for good reason. I know. I'm slowly losing my mind speaking. We're only on 150 or so. So we still got about 300 or so more to go. Anyway, next we've got Gonzo. He's got a stern, powerful photo. I feel judged just by looking at it. Like, got to get a closer look at that. He's judging me and all my life choices. You know, he's making you think about who you are and the choices you've made in your life. He appreciates gorgonzola cheese. He really, really appreciates not just gorgonzola cheese, but all cheese. He might be a little bit obsessed. And, sorry, punch my microphone. Who isn't obsessed with cheese, to be honest? Well, I guess if you're lactose intolerant. Well, I'm not, so I'm going to put him in S tier. Next, we've got Goose, and he's the early bird. He gets a worm. He literally does everything too fast. Slow down, Goose, slow down. And his name's a goose, but he's a chicken. What's up with that? S tier. Next, we've got Graham. He's an Idol fan. I'm an Idol fan. He's got Bubblegum KK's album. He's probably got it signed, and he's probably very respectful as well. His catchphrase is indeed a wise decision, which is a perfect catchphrase for a smug villager like him. And he lives in a literal server room on a cardboard box, so he's very committed to, I suppose, to his like database what's the word, database upholder, maintenance person. No, that's not a word. Job. So there he goes. Next we've got Greta, and she's based off an otafuku mask, which is that sort of like geisha styling she's got on her face. She's apparently utterly terrifying when she's upset, but she's fantastically great when she's happy, so I suppose don't upset her if you can. She runs a Japanese ryokan, which is, you know, like the hot springs bars, the hot springs spa inns, which I really want to stay in at one point, but they're really expensive, I'm not going to lie. But someday I will, and if I can stay in Greta's, I would. Next we've got Grizzly, and, you know, he's a grizzly bear. He looks like he could fell a tree in one swing. He's, you know, that strong a lumberjack. And despite his very sort of gruff and aggressive look, he always puts others before him. So he's got a very soft heart. And he's basically a big old teddy bear. Got to put him in S tier for that. Next we've got Groucho, who's got cool claw marks on his head. And he's a bit rough around the edges, but he's still a nice guy. And he's a farmer, so he probably knows how to drive a tractor, probably. I just noticed my lo-fi beats have seemed to have stopped. If you're wondering what I'm listening to, it's Lo-Fi Girl. I'm listening to a radio station. I'll probably put a link to it in the description down below. But anyway, you know who else might listen to Lo-Fi? Gruff. Actually, you probably wouldn't. But anyway, he'd be fantastic to take to a haunted house because, you know, he'd be reliable. He'd be not so easily scared, but he's there to enjoy the fun of it as well at the same time. He's a skilled poet. He writes rhymes and sets them to music, so he's probably got some slam sort of poetry with really stirring and inspiring words. And he's also got 6 sideburns, just like Eugene. Not like Eric, because Eric doesn't have sideburns, I'd like to reiterate. But S tier anyway. Next we've got Gwen, and manners maketh a penguin, according to her motto, which reminds me of what's that movie called? Kingsman, which is a very iconic scene, if you've ever seen it. She doesn't really like warm weather. She doesn't even go to her island's beach. That's how much she doesn't like warm weather. I don't really like warm weather. I much prefer the cold. And she's got a pink ice bed, which really pops out colour-wise on my house. So we got to put S tier for Gwen. Next we've got Hamlet, and he's the star of I Love You, which is one of my favourite, if not my favourite KK Slider song. And he may be small, but he's got a fiercely passionate heart. And he can probably do like 1,000 keepy uppies, which is, you know, that's like insane. I don't know anyone who could do 1,000 keepy uppies. I don't know anyone who's probably tried. I don't even know what the world record is for keepy uppies. But, you know, Hamlet could probably set it if he wanted to. Next we got, I forgot his name, Hamfrey. And his eyebrows may look a little bit angry, but he's very intense. He makes his own smoky food and a smoker. I don't really know what else he makes smoky food in, to be honest. And honestly, he looks like he's ready to fight in this photo, which is that sort of energy which, well, maybe you shouldn't aspire to, but maybe that sort of enthusiasm is something you can aspire to. After that, we've got Hans, and he's got a passion for life, and the passion and zeal that he has for life inspires his poetry ideas. And he's actually, if you don't know, based off a Yeti, probably. And he's probably a very friendly Yeti, just like, you know, Willem from New and Willem and League of Legends. He's got very chill eyes, he's very comforting, you know, he's very chill, but cool guy. And for that bad pun, I'm going to put him in S tier. Next, we've got Harry, and his Happy Home Paradise request really leans into his slob-like lifestyle, you know. I think his request is something like, I want a messy house or something to live in. I don't know, an absolute pigsty. Anyway, he's got very pretty wild facial very thick, luscious locks. Or, well, I guess you don't really call them locks. Or the beard locks? Is that a thing? I don't know. Anyway, he's reliving his glory days in his photo, but little does he know, he's still in the best days of his life right now, because maybe he's on your island. He was on my island for a while. Next, we've got Hazel, and I find her unibrow quite cute. Her monobrow. End of. Nothing more to say to that. She's proud of it. Oh yes, she is the one who's in that chain of that I talked about with Callie. She's the dominant Hazel because, you know, the other Hazel had to be called Sally, and the other Sally had to become Callie. So I don't know. She single-handedly set off that very strange chain reaction, and she would utterly destroy you in table tennis since she has 2 of them in her home. She just lives for the table tennis court, or ping pong if that's what you want to call it. I'm not that good, so maybe she'll teach me. Next, we've got Henry. He's, you know, the best way to Henry is through his stomach. He's easily won over with food, and he's embarked on a journey to apparently become a martial arts master. I don't know how that's going, but yeah. He's also, his name is based on the Frog Prince, so he might be secret royalty. He's got a lot going on in his life, to be honest. Next, we've got Hippo, and Hippo does his best to give a very classy demeanour, and honestly, first impression I get from him, very classy. And apparently he even changed his name to sound fancier, which is fair enough. If you wanted to change his name, by all means change your name. It's just, you know, there's a lot of admin work, I would know, to go with it, which is a little bit annoying. And also, he's probably smelling something very tasty in his photo. What do you think he's smelling? I think he's smelling a nice free cheese quiche. I like quiche. What can I say? Next, we've got Hopkins, and he's an inflatable rabbit balloon, which is utterly adorable and very interesting, sort of unique characteristic for an Animal Crossing villager. He lives in an arcade, but I don't think he has a bed, so I don't really know where he sleeps. His Pocket Camp description is literally just balloon puns, and I can't believe he isn't described as an airhead, being a lazy villager and all that. But I gotta put him in S tier anyway, not because of all of that. In spite of all of that? I don't really know. Next we've got Hopper. He's got absolutely glorious eyebrows, just like a rockhopper penguin. Excuse me. Him fishing in the Animal Crossing movie is such a mood. If you don't know, he fishes... He's basically in like these cutaway scenes. You see him like 6 times, and it takes him like 8 attempts to finally catch a fish. He catches like boots, nothings, like loses the line, etc, etc. It's very funny, and he makes up stories about how he's got his name, which really we all know is from a rockhopper story, but from a rockhopper penguin. But the stories are so entertaining, we let him go on with it anyway. So S tier for him. Oh, my throat. We're halfway there almost. Oh no, we're not. Anyway, next we got Hornsby. He looks so amazingly innocently cute in his photo, and apparently he taunts mosquitoes in his spare time. Mosquitoes are a nuisance and a pest, so any sort of insults you can lay into them, get him, Hornsby, get him. He wants to be a comedian, but you can't quite write a joke, but he's trying, and you know, that sort of spirit is exactly what you need sometimes to really achieve your dreams. And now a little bit of a long pause as I slowly start to realise that this was a terrible idea for a video because my voice is very slowly dying. But I'm going to persevere through to the end. And who else to better encourage me than Huck with his very smug face, which seems to be belittling me already. Anyway, his Happy Home Paradise customization is an adventure camp, but he wants an elegant sofa and a gravestone, so I don't really know what he thinks is in an adventure camp or what he wants in an adventure camp. It's kind of creepy in a certain perspective. And he likes piping hot coffee, and he always drinks it through a straw. I don't know, hopefully he uses a biodegradable one, but we'll put him in S tier anyway. Next we've got Hugh, and this is someone who loves donuts. Look at him, he loves it so much he managed to even take a picture of it. That's probably his favourite donut. Anyway, he just wants a place to eat and sleep in, and he always has a nice nap after eating a lovely meal, which honestly I think a lot of people can relate to. Maybe if they don't do it, but maybe they want to do it. Next we've got Iggly, and I don't know what he's looking up to. Maybe he's looking up his haircut, but he's always looking upwards. His house is filled to the brim with frozen treats and 2 rainbow light festive trees, so it's a very colourful icy house, and 6 of one, half dozen of another. Sometimes things are just the same thing. I don't know why I've written that. I assume that's his favourite saying. but I honestly can't remember. Next we've got Ike, and we like Ike. He's got a kid, he's a responsible father. Poco can live on his own. I assume Poco is the name of his child. For some reason, a lot of my notes are written very cryptically at this point. I must have been very tired. In Happy Home Paradise, even he just wants an ice cream store just to remind him of being a kid. So you can see he's got a bit of an empty nest syndrome, I suppose, going on. And he's a little old school, and he makes up his own phrases, and including one of them being peeling a potato from the bottom up, which is a fantastic phrase. I don't know what it means. Maybe it means like someone who doing things backwards, like putting the cart before the horse. Next we've got Jacob, who for some reason is called Jakey in the UK region, which includes my region. Sorry, in the Power region, including UK. So I know him as Jakey in my heart. Anyway, he's ready to go despite being lazy in his photo, and he's stylish and gives fashion advice apparently. So we've got to put him in S tier for that. Jax, and he's DJ Jax in the house, and he'll give you his mixtape, but it's actually for free, and he's not going to charge you for it. And cold drinks are his weakness, as they give him headaches apparently. And I got to say, I think I like warm drinks compared to cold drinks a lot of the time. Not that I have anything against like an ice cold cup of water on a hot day, but I think warm tea on a cold day feels a lot nicer to me. Next we've got Jambet, and as I say, yes queen, slay. And crazily, she's actually a normal villager. I thought she was snooty, so, lesson learned, don't judge a book by a cover, got to check your own sort of prepositions, is that the right word? Judgments, basically. And apparently she'll teach you how to apply makeup as well, so, go to Jambet's makeup school. Next we've got Jay, and he's got a fantastic catchphrase where it says, hey, with 2 Y's, so he likes you a lot. He's got a cute little hat in his photo, and his head is also very empty, but it's fueled by willpower alone. We've got a lot of like head empty sort of villagers, it's a little bit of a recurring theme, I suppose. And he's just another one to add to the club, I suppose. Next we've got Jeremiah, he's like blowing bubbles with his face or something like that, and I suppose Jeremiah was a bullfrog after all. And apparently he's tired all the time and sleepwalks. So, I was going to be like, cool. I'm not sure cool is really the right word for it necessarily, but, he's doing all right with it. Isn't it like a thing where it's actually completely fine to wake up sleepwalkers? It's like a myth that you're not meant to do that? I don't really know. Don't quote me on that. Probably look up for it yourself if you know anyone who sleepwalks, but I don't. Next we've got Jitters, and he honestly looks like he hasn't slept for like a week, which I'm not really sure how he's alive, but he's doing it. Anyway, he's got his captain, his own team, his squad, his team Jitters, and he's literally always 100% in intensity, either on the field or off the field. So that I've got to put S tier for him. Jerry, he's a simple duck. He looks really lost in the photo. He likes the backyard. He lives in the beach. He's got a low-key life. He doesn't aspire for anything more except for apparently love, because the flip-top desk in Animal Crossing, if you don't know, ships Joey and Mallory. So I ship Joey and Mallory too. I don't actually, but he's free to do whatever he wants, including going to S tier. Next we've got Judy, and she's probably got the softest and most sparkliest design in the entirety of New Horizons. She's got a fantastic catchphrase of my oh my, and she's quite literally starry-eyed along with a few other villagers, I think. But Stardust follows her around wherever she goes. A very, very pretty character, and straight to S tier she goes. Next we've got Julian, and he's got a fantastically majestic photo, 10 out of 10, look at that. He's got sparkles, he's twinkles, he thinks he's a gift from the skies above, from heaven itself, and he's absolutely 100% right, and he's probably a unicorn with magical powers, if my little pony friendship has magic taught me anything, so S tier he goes. Next we've got Julia, she's a pretty peacock, and she's got a messed up motto, but she still commits to it anyway. It's kind of like a yearbook phrase, isn't it? Write yearbook, despite the fact she could have crossed out what she wrote, and just like, rewrite it again. She just decided to stick with it because she wants to tell you that anyone can make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, and you got to own them to a certain degree. You got to own and learn from them. You don't need to always cover them up and hide them. No one is perfect. Sorry, my voice for it actually really hurts. I should probably not do that. Anyway, she has to look perfect from head to toe and spends way too long on preparing herself before she goes out for a day, so S tier, because that's a big mood. Next we've got June. She's got a very pretty hibiscus theming, and her head's always in the clouds, dreaming of, the casual summer days on tropical islands and that sort of things. She's a cloud cuckoo lander who's in her own dreamland, and I kind of am as well, so S tier from me. Next we've got Kabuki. He's got the most fantastic facial expression I've ever seen. He's got obviously an advocate for traditional arts, despite the fact he's got no credentials for it. And his catchphrase is "Yo," like that Kabuki actor noise thing. You know the one. You could probably search about Japanese noise. So S tier, he goes for that. Next we've got Kat. She's absolutely up to something. Even Pocket can't think so. Like, I believe canonically her description is that she looks like she's up to something. She owns all the instruments in a rock band, so she could probably play them all and be her own one-man band, and she's probably way cooler than I'll ever be. So out of pure jealousy, I suppose envy is the right word, I'll put her up in S tier. Next we've got Keaton. He looks so unbelievably cocky and is probably spoiled rotten, if I'm going to say anything. He wants breakfast by the beach, and his favourite saying is, a room full of fools, someone is the smartest, and I guess he's including himself in that. Whether he's the smartest or not, maybe he's one of the fools, who knows. Anyway, next we got Ken, and what can I say about him? Omae wa mo shinderu. Nani? Okay, sorry, that was pretty lame. That's a bit of an outdated meme, isn't it, at this point? Anyway, he can make Naruto running actually look cool, because he's, actually a ninja, I assume, and he could probably do that katana thing that we do in my anime, where, you grab a sword in the sheath and you go, and then, you slice something up. And obviously you can't see what I'm doing, so that probably wasn't a very good description, but hopefully you understood what I meant. Anyway, next we've got ketchup, and ketchup, it's a great condiment, and what I like to do, I actually like to mix up with mayonnaise a lot of time and dip chips in it, and that's my favourite thing. Apparently ketchup loves, ketchup on everything and puts it on pizza, and on pizza as a sauce, which I can't say I particularly approve of that, but I did used to have a friend who used to eat pasta with ketchup in the school canteen, which was certainly something. Anyway, all her life's problems she solves by eating tomatoes, and she probably has an emergency stash of tomatoes just for food fights, which I've never been in a food fight, but, hopefully hopefully she recycles all the waste of that, I suppose, afterwards. And then we've got Kevin, and his catchphrase is wee wee wee, because he goes wee 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 all the way home, just like this little piggy he went to, well, I guess that little piggy didn't go to market, but you know what I meant. Anyway, he's probably got a mean right hook. He would utterly wreck you in a boxing ring, and he's far too rambunctious because he's living life while he's still young. And that's fair enough, if there's any time to go wild, it's in your youth, and when it's completely fine, well, not completely fine, but you can at least make up for those mistakes a lot easier, I suppose, than when you're much older. Next we got Kit Kat, who's a fearless leader of a villager hero squad. Look at that high kick. He can probably, at least kick you up into your high shins, maybe, and he protects the town against evil, and I don't see any evil in Animal Crossing, so as there he goes for doing his job very, very well as a superhero. Next we've got Kid, who's got a very iconic catchphrase of what? And his photo studio was actually a really fun one in Happy in Paradise, and it's one I actually quite like quite a lot. He dresses up his pet goldfish, so his pet goldfish can be just as stylish as he is, and stylish starts with S, so S there he goes. Next we've got Kiki, and she's a delivery service reference, and you can't go wrong with a little bit of Studio Ghibli. She's apparently her own bad luck charm, being a black cat and all. I don't find black cats all that unlucky. I quite like women, if anything. And anyway, so crossing paths with her is good luck, because that's how friendly it is. If you cross paths with her, that means you'll just make a whole new friend. And that can't be bad luck. So we'll put her in S tier. Next we've got Kit, whose motto is funny parents have funny kids, so she's probably hilarious. She's very careful not to use naughty words or bad words about the kids, because, there's a time and place to use them, and especially in front of kids, it's probably not the greatest time. Her child mimics her, and so her child will probably be a fantastic kangaroo, or grow up to be a fantastic kangaroo in the future. S tier we go. Next we got Kitty, she's also a bit of a go-getter, and her favourite saying is that if you want something done well, you got to do it yourself. And fair enough. She's someone you can rely on to get the job done properly, and properly I suppose. She's very particular about makeup. She doesn't expose herself to the elements just to make sure like her mascara doesn't run or anything. Probably maybe she should get introduced to waterproof mascara, but maybe she's like, it's pretty difficult to remove, so she doesn't really want to deal with all that kerfuffle. And anyway, when she does raise the question of where she even gets her eyeshadow from. People say Nook is on. Who knows? I don't know if Nook even sells makeup, but perhaps you should get on that. I guess Able Sisters probably makes the most sense, because you can get makeup sort of designs for Able Sisters, but that's neither here nor there. Next we've got Klaus, and he looks like he's certainly from the ancient Greek era, and he's apparently a true jack of all trades. I don't know if he's a master of none, so maybe he's just master of all trades. who really knows? And he's probably chills out at ancient bathhouses. I can't say I've ever been to one, but maybe he'll take you. Hopefully they're much more hygienic, or something when my initial impression is of him. Next we got Nox, and he's a chicken knight, and he's going to be at your service, and him alone is good enough evidence that chivalry isn't dead. He can literally be a knight in shining armour, and he's also chill, and he's apparently never at risk of high blood pressure, which is good, because it's something he doesn't have to think about later in life. Apparently I got a bit of a waiting symbol, I don't know, on my mouse, I don't really know what was up with that. Next we've got Cody, and yeehaw, howdy partner. Even though for some reason in New Horizons he doesn't have his Western themed helmet anymore. He had it in all the previous other, or most of the previous other versions, but he doesn't have it in New Horizons anymore. I don't really know what's up with that. Anyway, he likes sleepy, but he's actually very active, and he's apparently an expert at fishing. He always catches and then releases them. That's very respectable. Respecting Mother Nature. We respect that. We stand that, so we put him in S tier. Next we've got Kyle, and he's a bit of an alpha wolf if we've got anything to go by, but I'm pretty sure he probably doesn't buy into that whole like hierarchy system, because as you know, it's based off poor research and outdated systems and beliefs. He looks like a cool rock star, probably is a cool rock star, and he'll, you know, after a wild night out, he'll definitely walk you home to make sure you get home safe. So for that, got a bit of an S tier for his caring heart. Next we've got Leonardo, and he looks a little bit concerned to be being judged by me right now, but don't worry, Leonardo, you're a fantastic person. Why? Because he's a sprinter, not marathon runner, and I feel that in my heart. I was always pretty good at running 100 meters, all right at 200 meters, passable at 400 meters, 800 meters and above, I was trash at. I just didn't have stamina for it, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, he's always hyped up for sports fair or sports day, and he signs up for every single sport. So, you know, that's the sort of person we can rely on to carry the team, or at least give it his best shot. Next, we've got Leopold, and he's going to tell you the difference between groups and rings and maths and modules and that sort of thing. Perhaps better than I can, because I can't remember, because it's been quite a while since I've studied that sort of module in maths. He collects signatures for a petition for a new school, because he really cares about education and shaping the future of the youth. And he's athletic and intelligent. He's got the brains and the brawn. What more could you want? And not finally, we still got like 200 or so more to go, but this is about halfway mark, so woo! Next we've got Lily, and she is the perfect villager, single-handedly. You know what? She's single-handedly so amazing. She's gonna change S tier to perfect tier. She upgraded every single villager who's so far in S tier to perfect. The reason that I like Lily so much is she stayed in my Wild Wild Town. She was one of the ones that joined my Wild Wild Town very early on, and you know, I played it. She always stuck through thick and thin. And when I opened up the game 10 years later, and she was still there. She was still there. That loyalty waiting for me to come back. And now she's here, moved to Fawn Hollow in New Horizons, and she's utterly adorable. And she'll absolutely stay by your side and have those incredible, deep, meaningful conversations that you have in when it's like, you know, 2 a.m. or something, and you're just both like watching the stars go by. So for that, perfect here. Next we've got Lindbergh, and you know, he's got a very sick 5 o'clock shadow going on. He sees everyone as idiots except for himself, but you know, don't we all a little bit? I mean, not really, but anyway, I hear Lindbergh cheese is quite nice, so for that I'll put him in perfect here as well. Next we've got Lionel. He's got a request in Happy Home Paradise for just a load of toilets, which is honestly one of the most hilarious things I've ever heard. So you know, you got to have confidence. He likes his toilet. He's a man who likes his toilets. So I can't really blame him, I suppose, for that. His very fantastic, glorious handlebar moustache, a very fanciful mane. And even though he's got very bright white hair, you would have thought it's from him being old, but apparently it's dyed. Who knows what's up with that? Anyway, perfect, here he goes. Next we've got Lobo. He's a big bad wolf with a bark worse than his bite, and apparently he digs up dirt on other villages. So I don't know, I guess he's out there exposing people in a certain degree, but you know, every single villager is perfect, so what's there to expose, Lobo? Apparently he's also scared of bugs, so if there's a spider in his home, he's going to call you over probably to get rid of it, maybe in exchange for information. I don't really know, maybe he's a spy. Anyway, perfect here. Next we've got Lonnie, and she's very a numerical cat, I suppose. She's got numbers on her face, her eyes are 6s, her mouths are 3 when she's surprised or looks upward, so that her eyes turns into a 9. And she's going to be a fantastic MC to someday if her Happy Home Paradise customization is anything to go by. The fact she trains and has a whole paradise resort made just to train like speeches, which apparently I suppose I can do with some. Anyway, don't get on her bad side. And I mean, it's not like you particularly want to get on many people's bad side, but to be honest, it's pretty hard to get on Oddie's bad side. She's a very forgiving person, so perfect, here she goes. Next we've got Lopez. He's got a hand on his chin, look at him, suave. He's got a suave model pose. He's posing with the camera. He knows his good side, and he's showing it to you right now. His favourite saying is to always look both ways before crossing the street, and if road safety is anything to go by those old hedgehog adverts I had from when I was growing up in Britain, I think that's something that people should probably pay attention to. And he's got a fantastic pink mascara on. I don't know where you get pink mascara from, but there you go, I'm going to put him in S tier for that. Next got Louis, and it's the last member of the DK crew, Louis Kong. I can't really remember how a DK rap goes particularly well, but it's very catchy, I suppose. Anyway, he's lifting weights in his photo. You know he could destroy you if he wants, but he's not going to. And apparently he's architecturally very strong. I mean, like, his architectural prowess is very strong, and all the snowmen he builds always structurally sound and will never fall over. So perfect, here he goes. Next we've got Lucha, who's of course based off of Luchadore, and reminds me of Mucha Lucha, which I watched as a child and I really quite enjoyed. His photo, of course, he's cheering, he's receiving a standing ovation from the crowd. He's a crowd pleaser, he knows it. He's entertaining. Perfect, here he goes. Next we've got Lucky, who's a living mummy, which makes a pretty interesting villager, certainly, in, you know, the Walking Dead and all that. And he apparently loves irony of his own name, or maybe he's actually Lucky, I don't particularly know. And he's really chill about everything. He's got the best kind of attitude, you know. He's faced some setbacks in life, but they don't let him define him, but he doesn't pretend they don't happen, that sort of thing. So perfect here, I forgot, sorry, he goes. Next we've got Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Anyway, she's assertive. She grabs the bull by the horns, and her e-reader cards shows her with no hair, and now she has a lot. I don't know, different styles. Maybe she grew out some hair. Maybe it's a wig. Who knows? Anyway, she proudly shows off her doll collection, and the infamous words of C.S. Lewis, who, when I was young, I used to read fairy tales. I used to hide the fact I read fairy tales or something because I was afraid of people finding out. Now I'm older, I openly read about fairy tales because who cares? Okay, I mean, that's not really what C.S. Lewis says, but that's kind of like a bit of the spirit of it. So, you know, Lucy with dolls is like C.S. Lewis to fairy tales. Next we've got Lyman, and he loves his eucalyptus enough to put it in his motto, and he loves his his veggies too, you know. He just wants a healthy salad, vegetable bar, you know, he wants everyone to be promoting eating healthy, you know, reduce your meat consumption, you don't need it as much. And he grows his own vegetables not only because it's good for him, because he finds them tasty. And honestly, that's a very enviable quality to have, so perfect, here he goes. Next we've got Mac, and he's got an adorably stern expression. Look at that, I don't even know what he's doing in this photo. I guess he's stretching or something. His favourite saying is that life can be rough, and honestly, true that. And he's the only dog jock, which actually surprises me. Okay, there's actually another dog which appeared in Animal Forest, but I don't know if that really counts. I'm surprised there aren't more dogs. That seems like a nice combination, which makes sense because dogs are very energetic. Anyway, perfect, here he goes. Next we've got Maddie, and her favourite saying is that IT revolution is underway, which what? I assume that's meant to be a reference to something. I don't really understand it. It seems a little bit out of character for her, but, you know, if she wants to praise the robot overlords and be spared should robot overlising happen, then fair enough. I can't blame her for that. Anyway, she collects trivia facts, so she'll be a fantastic teammate to have in a pub quiz, and she's very into fur hygiene and cleanliness, and I respect that as someone who likes to be clean themselves. So perfect, here we go. Next we've got Mayao, and she's got a very distinctive haircut. I think most people recognise her because of her sort of like Edna Mode, like very sharp bob haircut. And no matter how harsh she may seem, she apparently does no wrong. So apparently, literally by definition, canonically, she is perfect. And she always flexes her designer brands which she buys, which, you know, weird flex, but okay. Next we've got Maggie. She's got a green thumb because she's very good at looking after plants. Green trotter, I guess. I don't think pigs have thumbs. I think about it. Anyway, she's very low presence. It might even be hard to spot in the first place, you know? Rather than being like high maintenance and high key, she's low presence, low key, and she's fine with that, I think. And even though she looks surprised and she's a little bit worried all the time, we're still going to put her in perfect here anyway, so worry no longer, Maggie. Next we've got Mallory, if we don't know, the other half of the ship of Flip-Top's desk of Mallory and Jerry, and she has a perfectly sideswept fringe. Look at that, expertly cut and point. Point isn't really the right word for use for haircut. Style, that's a word. And as long as you stay on her good side, you've got a good friend who you'll be set for life. You know, she'll be there for you through thick and thin. Next we've got Maple, and maple trees are just really pretty, and maple leaves as well, just like Maple. And she's as sweet as she sounds, and not as sticky, canonically, I guess, which, you know, I don't think bears are particularly known for being sticky, but what do I know? And she loves teddy bears, and I love teddy bears too, so that's perfect here for me. Next we've got Marcel. He's a mime, and he's probably very talented at it as well. He might not be based on mime, he could be based off a Japanese festival mask, which makes sense considering the home that he lives in, and he wants a bathroom with a view in Happy Home Paradise, which, you know, probably some of the greatest bathrooms I've been in like very tall skyscraper like buildings with like views of the entire city, which, you know, it's a bit extravagant and a bit much, I suppose, for a bathroom, but if he wants it, he knows what he wants in life, so fair enough. Next we've got Marcy, and she's got a very elegant photo of her and her child. You know, she's definitely the type of mum to go to those photo shoots with her children or whatever, and to get like a nice things to remember them by. She's in perfect harmony with her child. Look at them, just like, I think they even got the same expression on right now. They do. And for some reason, her pocket camp description has, when a mother says jump, the baby says how high, you know. And so I guess she's got a little bit of energy and wild side to her as well. When you say jump, I say how high. Next we've got Margie, who's an absolute star in Gekijou Bendo with Tsunamori. I think she like saved Ai. She was like Ai's best friend or something, like her and Rosie. We'll get into Rosie in a bit. And she wants to be a fashion designer, and the movie suggests that she makes it, right? If I remember, she moves out of town because she becomes a famous fashion designer. And also I just noticed she's actually painting in her photo right now, so she's very artistically talented. And she's in vacation mode 24/7, so she's always relaxed, she's always cheerful, she's always having a good time. So perfect, here she goes. Next we've got Marina. She's adorably cute and a combination of an unusual animal too. She's also a complete savage apparently, because her old motto is she thinks she's the only one sane one in this town. But of course now she's very sweet and, you know, saccharine, which, you know, fair enough. She's sweet, but she's got a little bit of bite to it. And she may look soft, but apparently she's got a strong core. She's polite yet firm, like her skin in Pocket Camp. Is apparently what I put down here. So I don't know. I guess octopuses are kind of like that. Have you ever? Well, I've never touched an octopus, so they're kind of squishy, aren't they? I would have thought, but you know, she's got a strong core to her heart. Anyway, next I've got Marshall. If you don't know, Marshall was basically the Raymond of New Leaf. He was so insanely popular on the release of New Leaf. And anyway, he never leaves things unsaid, even though a lot of people wish he could. You know, he's not the person who speaks before he thinks. You know, that's kind of like, as a character, it's kind of amusing, but I suppose as a friend, you might be like, oh, come on, Marshall. Anyway. In New Leaf, he had a sloppy house, it was an absolute mess, and New Horizons, his house is now a glow up. And apparently he learned how to tidy up and things, so for that's character growth right there. Marshall, S tier. Oh, not S tier, perfect tier, sorry. Anyway, we've got Matilda, and the only thing I can think of when I hear the name Matilda is Waltzing Matilda. Waltzing Matilda, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Anyway, she's teaching her child how to trick and tease others, which seems a little bit on the evil side of raising children, but, you know, I choose that to mean that she's more of a prankster, and she's teaching her children to also enjoy and see the fun and laughter in life. Her favourite saying is that nail polish is thicker than water, which is, I guess, you know, nail polish of a covenant thicker than water of a womb. Who knows? Next up we got Megan, and she always gets her chores done before indulging herself, which is, you know, I've got to respect that. Someone who gets stuff done before, you know, get the stuff you need to do done first, and then do the stuff that you would like to do later. She really loves sweets, so much so she's eating a lollipop in her photo. Can't really blame her, sweets are quite nice. And her candy is, her name is candy and sweet related in all other languages. So I'm not actually sure why she's called Megan. I guess they ran out of sweet puns or something for her name here, but she's going to be in perfect here anyway. Next we've got Melba. She's got really cute, she's got a refreshing photo, adorable hat, adorable clothes. Melba Toasters apparently is a thing, which I'm not sure if that's necessarily what she's based off of, but I've never had it. Probably is delicious. And she digs a fairy tale, I dig the fairy tale aesthetic that she has for her Happy Home Paradise request, and Happy Home Designer I think as well. I love like the fairy tale sort of woodland things and that sort of thing, and the fact that she loves it too, perfect here in my mind. Next we've got Meringue, who's got a very cute and creative design, and I love that sort of strawberry horn, and the fact that she's kind of got like hair which is like a whipped meringue in the first place. Apparently she was literally born to bake. She's a fantastic baker, and I certainly don't doubt that from her Pocket Camp description, and she's constantly cooking up and inventing and making up new sweets and desserts, and honestly she would probably give them to you to try them. You know, she's very fair and very good at receiving critical feedback. So for that I've got to put her in perfect here. Next we've got Mary. She's got a very cute little double chin, which she's even showing off in her photo like that. She's got radiant energy that will always shine even through the darkest of nights, to quote Braun from League of Legends. And I don't know what this means, but apparently she has a very strange e-reader card profile. Maybe go check it out. The only thing I put here is, I don't get it, but go get them, girl. I think it's almost nonsensical if I record it. It's very strange. Next we've got Midge. She's got a very sort of spiral theme going on. She's got spiral cheeks, got a spiral whirl on the top of her head. She seems very bright and kind and adorable, and she'd give you a very stylish haircut if you ask her, because she's apparently very skilled in the hairdresser ability department. That's a very inhuman way of like phrasing that sentence, but you know what I mean. Next we've got Mint. She's like an idol, a role model. She leads by setting a good example to others. She understands how delicious mint ice cream is. And apparently she wasn't even born green. She was turned green by eating mints, kind of like how flamingos turn pink by eating shrimp or something like that. So I don't really know how sort of biology works in the Animal Crossing universe, but if that can happen, fair enough. Next we got Mira. No, we don't have Mira. I was like, that's not Mira. Next we got Miranda, and she's got pink on pink. She's got bold statements. She's so quackulous. She's so quackulous. It is her simple request, to quote High School Musical. And she always does her best to keep fit and healthy. And, you know, I gotta respect her. Now we've actually got Mira, who is, you know, she's got the pace of a superhero. But interestingly, she's not one of a superhero squad. You know, the one that consists of Kid Cat, Agent S, Big Top, and what's her name? Rocket, I believe. Well, unless she is. I feel like she should be, but maybe she, you know, she works together with them, but she's like her own person. She ain't part of the squad, and that's fair enough. And anyway, I think she might be a Sailor Scout, like, you know, based off like Sailor Moon and that sort of thing. And I used to like that when I was younger, and apparently no one even knows where she came from, so maybe she's an alien. Who knows? Anyway, Mira, perfect here. Next we've got Mitzi, and she's just got pure unbridled joy in her photo, and I've got to respect anyone who can carry around that amount of happiness, I suppose, wherever they go. She's everyone's mutual friend because she's so lovable and she's so kind. That's how friendly she is, and she's probably the perfect wing cat. She'll set you up with like anyone, that sort of thing. She'll fluff you up. She'll talk big about you and that sort of thing. And that you got to respect a friend who's as loyal and caring as that. So perfect. Here she goes. Next we've got Mo. He's got very unique eyes, you know, he looks kind of tired. It's a very difficult to describe abstract emotion. And his motto, his favourite saying, sorry, is ignorance is bliss. And it reminds me of that song that Bowser sings. Princess Toadstool, something, I can't remember how it goes. Ignorance is bliss. You remember that? I don't know, that's like late early 2000s or something. Anyway, apparently he's bad at first impressions, which is hashtag relatable. So that's hashtag perfect here for me. Next we've got Molly. She wants to publish her own book someday, and you know, if you know her, she's got definitely the drive to actually do it. She's very calm, cool, collected. You know, everything's like water off a duck's back, and she can be spurred into action when time calls for it. So you know, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Wait, I don't think that's what was. That's not a really relevant saying every time, but whatever. Next we've got Monique. She revels in attention. All publicity is good publicity for her, which is fair enough. I suppose that, you know, even bad publicity is something that she takes in stride. And she isn't even a movie star, but she acts like one. So I guess it's sort of like a fake it till you make it. Maybe someday she'll be picked up for a big movie starring role. And she's so smug that it's her catchphrase, which is, you know, honestly, if it fits her character very well. So Monique, S tier. Excuse me as well, I take a sip of water. And we're back straight into talking about Monty, who's our next villager. He's kind of the opposite of Monique, because apparently his sort of life motto, I suppose, that he lives by is that no news is good news. You know, he wants to be low-key and all that sort of thing. Good for him. He's probably really sick at free card Monty, if her name's anything to go by. I know not necessarily your name will determine exactly what you're good at, but, you know, he probably is, because you know why? He's good at solving mysteries, and probably would look great in a noir film. So put him in perfect here from me. What does that even mean? I don't know. Next we've got Moose. He's not a moose, but he's got a lot of mousse in his hair. But sorry. Anyway, I didn't he can really raise his eyebrow up quite high. I don't even think I can do that. I don't know any other villager who can do it quite as high as he does, and he often holds that pose, which is, you know, I'd imagine quite tiring for him. And he calls you Shorty, which I don't really know how to feel about from him, but we're just going to put him in perfect here and moves on from that. Next we've got Mott. He's also brains and brawn. He wants to research science about building muscle, and he works out at the gym and the library. Perfect here. Next we've got Muffy. Muffy, sorry, not Muffy. Muffy, she's a goth icon. She's even veiled in darkness and gloominess. She's got a warm and bright heart, and, you know, she also probably has a cold, unbeaten heart sitting under her floor, you know, like Telltale Heart style. So I guess that's cool. Or scary. Anyway, perfect here. Next we've got Murphy. He lives a frugal life, and because he believes money just causes issues, you know. Simple, fair enough. Respect him for that. He sees recipes as science experiments, which is both intriguing and frightening, depending on what sort of things that he ends up putting in there. Please don't put hydrochloric acid in any of your recipes that you end up cooking. And he carries a little container of sweet heat with him when he smells when he gets too angry. And honestly, that's adorable. So I'm going to put him in perfect here. Next we got Nana. Playing as Nana in Smash Bros is 100% stronger than playing as Popo. That's what I'm just telling you now, if you play as Ice Climbers. She's sweet and lovely, and she's got a face that you'd always forgive, and maybe that's what she wants. I'm onto you, Nana. Whoa! So much so that I even accidentally scrolled up too far and put way high in perfect here. Next we've got Nan, and her saying is which is something like na 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 boo boo, which is something I actually never heard of before until I actually read it, so I had to research it. And I got a shout out to a person on, I think it was like Wikipedia or something, no, Wiktionary, I don't know, something like that, like the dictionary, Wikipedia, who recorded himself going na 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 boo boo, who actually told me how to sing that tune. So there you go. Anyway, her home really commits to a black coloured aesthetic. I think literally everything in her home is quite black. I don't know how she even navigates in the dark, but fair enough. And she is the other pen pal for Shevra, and also has a photo of Shevra above her bed. So, of course, the two pen pals got to be up here together in perfect here. That's what pen pals stand for. Next we've got Naomi, and the only thing I really know about Naomi particularly well is that she always asks for a sad art cafe in Happy in Paradise, which, you know, I like sad art. I like sad art because it's moving, it's very raw, I suppose, in that sort of sense. So I appreciate that too. She's got no patience for childishness and that sort of thing. She's very sort of stern person, I suppose, in that sense. I couldn't think of a word to really describe her. But she still lives life like there's no tomorrow, so I don't know. Free spirit, free heart, just not childish in that sense. Next we've got Nate, and he's got green eyebrows. That's pretty cool. And he knows that that's literally what everyone comments on. That's literally the first thing I commented on when I first saw him. But, you know, he's okay with it. He's owning it. And he just wants to be your true self, just like he is, you know. He lives a true life. He wants you to live your true life. Perfect here. Aspirational. Next we've got Nibbles, and she probably does the animal thing, anime thing where she, you know, they go like, how? And they just take like a tiny bite of food and somehow chew it for about 3 minutes. Apparently she easily gets people on people's nerves, but she's so cute that you can't really stay mad at her. And she's so like scatterbrained, so high energy that she can't focus that long. But she needs motivation to study. And so much so that when she's on holiday, she even asks for a holiday resort to study at, just so she can focus. Fair enough, Nibbles, fair enough. Next we've got Norma, who's, you know, she's just a normal gal, which is pretty respectable in the Animal Crossing universe with how strange a lot of these villages can be if you have a quick look for a lot of them. She makes her own artisanal dairy products, don't think about that too hard, and she likes to dress up like her favourite actresses, and she always looks good when she does it. Perfect here. Next we've got O'Hare, and he's probably an Irish name. He's probably Irish with a name like O'Hare, I believe. His house is literally just 2 islands. I don't know how he lives like that and how he travels from island to island, but fair enough. And he's pushy in his vein and full of himself, but he probably has redeeming qualities as well, so we're going to put him in perfect here. We'll give him a benefit of doubt. Next we've got Octavian. He tells you not to be a sucker, but also calls you a sucker, so I don't really know how he feels about us. He may be old, but he's got cool and hip vibes. Look at that. You know, he's got the street, he's got the cap. He would wear his cap backwards if he could, but he can't. And he also might be an alien, according to his pocket camp description. Who knows? Next we've got Olaf, and not the snowman. He lives off the stage. Look at him reveling in the spotlight. He's got his fringe down his nose, so I don't know, that must be really boring. I used to have like a really long fringe as well, which kind of went over my eyes, and people always asked if it bothered me, and I kind of said it didn't, but it was kind of weird to look out of a lot of the time. But anyway, I think he's meant to be a matador, which I don't really know how that works in Animal Crossing, to be perfectly honest, but I assume maybe it's just like a cool dance that you do with like another bull villager, traditionally. I don't know. I'm going to put him in perfect here, though. Next we've got Olive, and her eyes are surprisingly kind of haunting. They kind of look a little bit empty, like she's kind of staring straight into my soul like that. But anyway, she still serves out ice cream to everyone, so that certainly softens her up quite a lot, and she always redecorates. In Pocket Camp, she says her house always has to be absolutely pink. In New Horizons, her house is very much not, so I guess she's kind of like fickle in the way of how she wants designs, and fair enough, I think I would be as well. Next we've got Olivia, and she's got an amazing photo. It's like she's born to pose and model for photos. She literally looks like a model, I suppose, especially with her what's it called, a beauty mark, I suppose, just below her eye. Her Happy Home Paradise request is fantastically fun as well. She's got if I remember, it's Olivia's Land of Nods, and it was one of the first ones I've done, which I was extremely happy with. And she's candid about everything, except that she won't be candid to your face, I suppose, because she admires others from afar, in that sort of degree. So we'll put her in perfect here. Next we've got Opal for harmony, and especially that comes out a lot in her Happy Home Paradise request, where she wants a serene sort of build, I think. Anyway, when she walks into a room, all eyes on conversations about her, because, you know, I suppose she's quite the talk of the town, you might say, and she's a serial complainer and complains about complaining. So, you know, I don't know if that's perfect here, but we're going to put her in a perfect here because she's got other redeeming qualities too. Next we've got Ozzie, oi, 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 which is like a football chant I hear all the time. He's got a really cute crafting-based home. I'm sure he could whip you up something really good if you requested it from him. And he wants to go taller on an e-reader. But, you know, we stand our short kings, so put him in perfect here, just like that. Next we've got Pancetti. I think Pancetti is pretty tasty, and Pancetti is a snack. Okay, sorry, that was a bit weird. I immediately backtrack on what I say, but you know, she's pretty cool. Anyway, she understands the importance of getting things down in writing, you know, in contracts, especially like that. That's just good, like, life advice when when you're working or anything like that. And her favourite pastime is getting people to compliment her skin without getting people to realise that she's getting people to compliment her skin, which, I know, that's some sort of weird, sick game that she's playing, but I find it kind of funny in the first place. So Pancetti, perfect here. Next we've got Pango. I think she's got a very pretty design, honestly. I don't know if blue Pangodins particularly exist like that sort of thing, with this sort of aesthetic. I don't even know if she is a Pangodin, to be honest. But anyway, she wants to buy a pyramid. Why? Anyway, I always think she's snooty, but she's not petty. She's peppy, not. And she's got a catchphrase of snoof, which is pretty funny. So we'll put her in perfect here. Next we've got Paolo, who's probably got the most radical, trippy photo I've ever seen. He's got a very simple facial expression of it. Literally, his eyes are dot and his smile is just like a line, which I think is adorable. And it really reminds me of that comic series, you know, that Oh No, where it's basically like a pink and orange blob. They always talk to each other and they get into like relatable situations, and it always ends with them being oh no. I think it's called like Unfortunate Comics. It's by Alex Norris. You can look it up yourself. Or maybe the comic series is called Alex Norris. I don't think so. Anyway, he questions if he's a figment of everyone's collective imagination, so that's a little bit of an existential dread that he's just imparting onto you right now, so we'll put him in perfect tier for that. Next we've got Pappy, who's an okapi, which is pretty cool, and he's also got those sort of 1920 rubber hose eyes. You can't see them in this photo, unfortunately, but they're adorable. And his catchphrase is hey, so hey to you, Pappy, hey to you, all the way to perfect tier. Next we've got Pashmina, and she's a great red retro diner house. She likes to make flower art, or I assume like Ikebana, perhaps in Happier in Paradise. And Pashmina is probably very soft and fluffy, just like Pashmina, the material themselves. So we'll put her up in perfect here. Perfect for Pashmina. P for perfect? P for Pashmina? I don't know. Pate requests an internet cafe for her Happier in Paradise customization. So we know she's a gamer. So I don't know, maybe she's Challenger in League of Legends, or I don't know what the other top tiers are called in other games, I apologise. Anyway, she always looks really concerned, but she's peppy, so she's got a nice sort of duality situation going on. But you know what she's always concerned about? Is that she wants everyone to always be happy, and that's so sweet. I got to put her in perfect here. Next we've got Patty, and I gotta say, it must be a little bit strange being named after a food item composed of yourself. I mean, I suppose it's not something I can particularly relate to because humans aren't really a food. I mean, I suppose I could do it like deer. It'd be like if I'm called venison or something. But anyway, she seems to lean into it because apparently she wants a barbecue as a Happy in Paradise request, which I don't really know what to think about that. But she's an open person, she's an open cow. She wears a heart on the sleeve and doesn't hide anything. So we'll put her in perfect tier for that. Next we've got Paula. She's got a stylish headband on and is integral to her design, I think. She also appears on 2 albums, which is quite rare for a villager. She's in KK Dixie and KK Oasis, I believe. And she's a very peaceful and nature-loving, probably. She's very, you know... you might think she's a little bit spacey, but she's actually there. Just, you know, she's relaxed and chill. That's probably what I put... how I'll describe her as. So I'll put her in perfect here. Very slowly losing my ability to talk, and we still got quite a few more. My word. Next I've got Peaches. She's got these cross eyes, which are honestly surprisingly expressive and very unique and to her design. She's a KK slider stan. She knows all of her songs, knows all the lyrics, has probably collected all of her albums, and probably... I don't actually know if she hangs them up in her house, but she should. She tries to be so mysterious and, you know, stoic and far off, like no one knows about her, but she's so friendly and cute and forward, I suppose, in that aspect. It's quite the contrast. Next we've got Peanut, and her customization is all about US of A, America. Again, probably be great friends with Apollo. And apparently she's just got far too many good points about her, and I agree, you know, her eyes are shining, she's got a cute smile, fantastic style and fashion, personality, pretty colour palette, and even canonically popular with the general population. So, fair enough. Peanut, S tier you go. No, not S tier, perfect tier you go. Next we've got Pecan, and she was the last villager to leave Leonardo, so that's a prestigious honour, and we salute her as she's leaving today, I believe. Well, tomorrow, actually. Her favourite saying is promises are like pie crusts, which are meant to be made to be broken, which that sounds a little bit mean-spirited compared to what the impression I get of Pecan, who's a very sweet person, but hey-ho, here we go. She's got an eye for fine art, and she never falls for red fakes, which, you know, I always had to look it up in the Animal Crossing wiki, but the fact that she doesn't, she just knows them off the top of her head, that's very admirable in its own right, I think. Next we've got Peck. He's got very vacant eyes. He's kind of like he's a walking spirit. And his favourite saying is the best defense is a good offense. So he's, he's got that glass cannon style in any sort of Animal Crossing game. By the way, there should absolutely be like a crossover Animal Crossing games. Like imagine an Animal Crossing fighting game. And I'm not talking about Smash Bros. That'd be amusing as heck, I think. And his name is a bird and a muscle pun, and that's efficient at summarising his personality in just his name. So perfect, here he goes. Next we've got Pee-wee, and he's actually massive, doesn't he? Ain't Pee-wee at all. And his catchphrase is also little bitty baby, which is honestly kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. And as strong as he looks, he's even stronger. What does that even mean? I don't know. Oh, no, he's as strong as he looks. And, gorillas are actually crazy strong. They can actually mess you up. So I know life advice, don't, annoy a gorilla. I can't say I've really run into a gorilla all that often, but still. Apparently, this is Peggy, who's next. She practices poses in front of a mirror each day and practices makeup in a mirror every single day. Her house doesn't have a mirror in it. Spooky. Perfect, here she goes. Who knows what's up with her mysterious house. Next, we've got Pico, or Picoe. I did not look up how to pronounce her name, which I probably should have done. She collects buttons, which are adorable, and she probably brews some amazing jasmine tea. I love jasmine tea, personally. And her ears, a very interesting design, are actually Niujiu To, sorry, which is what you call those sort of like hair bun hairstyles in Chinese. Anyway, next we've got Penelope, who's also got a very interesting design where her ears are just a massive bow, which might raise questions about what happened to her actual ears, but I don't know, at least that's unique. Her happy home design is she wants a wedding despite getting married, so fair enough, I know, you go girl. And her favourite saying implies that she would walk 1,000 miles just to see you tonight. Da 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 da. I love that song. A little bit of Vanessa Carlton, anyone? That is Vanessa Carlton, right? I think so. Next we've got Phil. He's got, for some reason, very sparkly eyes, even when his eyes are closed. I don't really know how that works, logistically, but anyway, he wants to stare into the void of a mini galaxy in which he rules, in happy home design mood, and he kind of looks like Falco from Star Fox, and personally, I prefer yeah. Only true Smash Bros. Brawl fans will get that, and probably Star Fox fans. I haven't actually played any Star Fox games, I apologise. Next got Phoebe, another Fawn Hollow bias. Look at that explosive photo, she's raring to go. She's going to rise like a phoenix in the infamous words of Conchita from Eurovision, and she knows the secret to a long life, which is to take things slow and remember vitamins, and also be a mythological creature who can revive themselves. So Phoebe, perfect, here you go. Next we've got Pierce, and he's either seen some crazy stuff in his mind, in his life, or he's very, very tired. He wants a gym, but he wants a fancy one, because he's the king of a gym. And he's also 100% committed to winning big time. I don't know what he's winning big in. Is it the big game? Lottery? Something else? Winning big? In the club? I don't know. Perfect, here he goes. And we're back, and we got to keep it going. Right up with Pierce. No, not Pierce. We just done Pierce. Pietro. And I think clowns are great, no matter what it might tell me, and what other people might say. Why are people so scared of clowns? I think they're cute. He just wants to make people laugh, and he could probably make some crazy balloon animals, I'd imagine, so we've got to put him in perfect here. Next we've got Pinky, who understands the importance of feng shui. Which for some reason just literally translates to wind water. I don't really know the history behind that, but whatever. Anyway, she's a fantastic hostess and probably cooks a mountain of food every time you go visit her. And she doesn't always wear pink. Look at that photo. Look, she's wearing red, that ain't pink. Labels don't define her. Put her in perfect here, right there. Next we've got Piper, who's a total perfectionist and gets frustrated when she can't do things. That's a big mood right there. She never fails at things because she doesn't try. That's less of a mood, but understandable, I suppose, where she's coming from. And honestly, this is just a call out villager. She's just here to call out everyone, myself included. Who we got next? We got Pippi, and she will always play absolute bangers if you pass her the York's chord, and she looks really satisfied with life, and honestly that's aspirational. What more could you want from life than being satisfied from it? And though she says fake it till you make it, so no, maybe she's faking being satisfied with life, I don't know, that's perfect here, in my book anyway. Next we've got Plucky, who loves to go to the beach and sunbathe, and she has 6 surfboards in her house. Totally gnarly, catch a barrel, hang 10. I don't know any other surfing terms, I apologise. Radical. Is that surfing? I guess it's not really much of a surfing slang, but anyway. And also, she's always 100% right. Well, at least she lives in a world where she is. So we'll put her in the 100% category, which is of course perfect here. Next we've got Pom Pom, and oh, I think I found myself a cheerleader, and she has a catchphrase of rah rah. So I suppose she's meant to actually be a cheerleader. I don't really know. Anyway, she loves opening packages she orders, and a friend told me the same thing once. Who said her favourite part was not actually getting the item that he had, but it was the fact that he gets to open like the delivery, and if he found out really thrilling. I don't find that thrilling, but if you find it thrilling, Pom Pom, by all means, continue to do so. But she also gets excited over everything. Now I think about it, so does that friend. Oh well, perfect here. Either way. Anyway, we've got Poncho. He lives in a dorm or something because he's got like 6 beds because he's got like 3 bunk beds. I don't know who those beds are for, but fair enough, Poncho. He believes in both the journey and the destination, which, I suppose I can't really argue with that. It's sort of just like, which is better, the journey or the destination? He says both. It's like, okay, fair, I guess. And he's also apparently the person behind the scene who always makes stuff happen. So, good things, bad things come your way. That was Poncho who did it. So I've got to give him perfect tier for sheer power alone. Next we've got Poppy, who has a cutely adorable tiny face. She likes pets and she would probably be a very sane cat lady rather than a crazy one. And she wants to experience thrills and adventure, like all of us do, but she wants to do it safely through the book and safely at home, which is, fair enough. It's sort of like you get the highs and lows of having dangerous things happen, but you don't actually get to experience the actual danger and caution that comes with them. So Poppy, perfect. Next we've got Portia, who's probably the fanciest dog that exists, and would cause you a ruffian, an absolute ruffian, which is quite funny in my book, I think. She's a constant worrier and she worries about everything, and I hope she's doing alright. Maybe she's got too high standards or something. Hang in there, Portia. Next we've got Prince, who apparently shaves 3 times a day, and he's still got a dark shadow. I can't even imagine what that would be like. It sounds like quite a nuisance, if anything. Perhaps he actually is a secret prince, because if you've given him a kiss, he'll stay the same, because he's, already a prince. But anyway, he has an adorable home to camp under the stars with. So even if he won't become your sort of, well, not knight in shining armor, your Prince Charming, he can at least go on a nice sort of camping holiday with him, and he can tell you about, I don't know, Orion or something. Next we've got Puck. He loves ice hockey, and he'll teach you about it. I don't know anything about ice hockey. The only thing I know about it is from a stream I watch called Northern Lion. Go Canucks! I don't know any other teams. Anyway, he's quite a comedian, Puck is. I mean, I guess Northern Lion is as well, but we're not really talking about him. And he always wants people laughing, so I've got to put him in perfect tier here. Next is Puddles, and she's really got the colon V face, which is, a very rare sort of emoji that people use. Or maybe it's just one of my friends use it quite a lot. I never really know what to make of that expression, but I suppose Puddles is here to sort of right those wrongs in my mind. Her conversations go at like 1,000,000 miles per hour, just like mine do right now, which is probably why I'm running out of breath talking about this and slightly ruining my throat talking raw. But she swerves back and forth between tons of different topics, And I think that's a bit of a mood, because my mind also like jumps back and forth between lots of different topics and almost becomes a little bit nonsensical if I don't try and filter what I say through sort of lens of normalcy. Anyway, her wild favourite catchphrase is hip, hop, ho, here let's go, and I love that sort of energy that she brings, so I've got to bring her up to perfect here. Next we've got Pudge, and his photo is a bit like the first day of school or something. Well, I guess the last day of school. Well, I guess it would be the first day of school in Japan, because I believe in Japanese school year starts in April compared to in Britain where it starts in September, and I'd imagine a few other countries do that too. He dreams longingly about fish. I don't know whether about eating them or catching them or whatever, but he's apparently a table fisherman, and he's apparently like really, really rich or something secretly. So I guess he's got into a very sort of rich private boarding school or something. Next we've got Punchy, and his eyelids line up with his face markings, so that's very satisfying. His face is totally unreadable. Who knows what is on his mind, and apparently he just randomly sucker punches people, at least according to his e-reader card, so maybe he's sort of grown out of that face, but we'll give him a perfect for punch tier anyway. Next we've got Purrl. I wish I could roll my R's, because that would probably give a little bit of spice to Pearl's name, but I can't. She's got very distinctive eyelashes, I think. I think that's probably one of the most notable features about her, at least her face, and most of the time she's very suspiciously looking upwards. You always got to be careful about these villagers whose pupils tend to constantly be looking upwards, because they always look like they're up to something. I know she's looking at us right now in this photo, but still. Anyway, once she's out of her shell, she sounds like an absolute pearl, and she used to have a birdcage in her home, and for some reason her e-reader card insinuates that she ate it. I don't really know what to think about that, and that gives very questionable morals and dilemmas, I suppose, in the Animal Crossing world, but we'll put her in perfect here anyway. And next we've got Queenie, a Slay Queenie, who used to live in a literal chess house, so apparently, literal queen, I suppose, in that aspect. And she's so hip beyond our comprehension that mere mortals cannot understand her style, so I'll put her in perfect here, because that's the closest that me as a mere mortal can put her in. Next we've got Quillson, who is actually a villager I never even realised existed, and he looks like he's about to scoff in my face and laugh at me for not even acknowledging his existence, so I apologise, Quillson. But he's probably not actually that mean, he just, wants to drop his sick diss tracks or whatever, so maybe he is kind of mean, I don't really know. Anyway, ridiculous is a catchphrase, is as ridiculous as it sounds, so we'll put him in perfect tier anyway. Next we've got Raddle, and he respects personal space and he wears a mask when he's ill, which, got to respect this, especially during these sort of times. And apparently, very importantly, he's not a doctor despite what he looks like, but he always still wears that mask 24/7. Who knows what's hiding underneath? Maybe it's eldritch monstrosity, or maybe it's just a normal mouth, but we'll put him in perfect tier anyway. Next we've got Rasher, and he's definitely been in some fights. He's got battle scars and, he's got the attitude to approve it. He lives in a sketchy car park. I can't imagine that's particularly comfortable, but if he likes it, he likes it. And he's scary, but he's just not a bad guy. He just sometimes speaks without thinking. You might say, a little bit rashly. But, alright, moving on to Raymond, who is the Raymond of New Horizons. A very, very popular and smart business cat. Everything must be very precise and exact according to his mindset, and he was so insanely popular in release, and even now he's so insanely popular, and even now he's got his own amiibo cards to go with it. I don't know if you know, I think it was Raymond. There was someone who basically, they had an auction for Raymond back when New Horizons was first released, and people used to buy villagers, and still do I suppose, with Nook Mart tickets as a currency. Most villagers go from somewhere, like, if they're kind of popular, around like the 50s or something, and like most of them going from like around the 10 to 30 range. And then some outliers got some really popular characters on release, like Audie and Judy. They went from like 200, maybe 300 Nook Mart tickets. Raymond had probably the highest amount I've ever heard been sold for. Someone bid on him for 2,000 Nook Mart tickets just to have Raymond in their town. What? Anyway, Raymond's in my town, so that's no weird flex or anything. And he'll probably help you file your taxes and manage your finances. So, perfect here for me. Next we've got Renee, and she used to be a bit of a school delinquent, hanging out in parking lots. Even now in a Happy and Paradise customization, she wants to have an empty parking lot because she misses the exuberant days of her youth. And she also greets you with a yo yo yo, which I find quite funny. So, put her up here, the school delinquent. Now we have Renee, which, by the way, I absolutely loved the half-shaved hairstyle that she's got, and she's absolutely rocking it. Her favourite saying is that you can only be you, so be the best you can be. And honestly, it's starting to get eerily close to Barbie's, I suppose, saying, I think it's good life advice to go by. And she's also inseparable from her own, as she always keeps up with the latest trends, and hashtag perfect will be hashtag perfect to Renee. Maybe that could be the next big trend for her. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm slowly losing it. It's been 2 hours talking about Animal Crossing villages. There's only so long I can keep it together for. Next we've got Rex. He's got cute freckles and he's got a precious little hat. He's low-key, but his nature makes him energetic, and Sunday is his favourite day, and Sunday is a very good day, so I've got to put him in perfect here just because of that. Rhonda is the next one. She's got a fantastic pose for a photo, and she would do well on the old Instagram, I think. She's nicknamed Rhonda the Rock, whether it's due to her reliability or her size or maybe her muscles, who knows. And she's a very determined person, so once she sets her mind to something, she gets it done. And she was set on getting into perfect here. Congratulations, you did it, Rhonda. Next we've got Ribbit, and he's a frog robot. That's enough motivation to put him perfect here straight off the bat. He's a robot also with feelings in all caps, and he passes a Turing test, which I don't know if that's a worrying thought or not, but hey ho, here we go. We'll move on quickly from that before the robot overlords take over. I know one of the previous villagers was warning us about that. I don't remember who, off the top of my head. Next we've got Ricky, and he almost looks like he's from another game. He's like got a very different art style, and I can't put my finger on exactly what. Anyway, when he was a kid, he was a little bit of a troublemaker, and he apparently chews on literally anything, so I don't know. Chew on this, Ricky. Perfect here. Next we've got Rizzo. He's got a hokamuri around his head, which I did think was hair that he was eating at first blush, but he's not. Apparently he's based on a very stereotypical representation of a thief in Japanese culture. Maybe Japanese folklore? I don't really know how to describe it. And despite the fact he looks super suspicious, he thinks he's a superhero, and people are kind of used to it with him trying to swoop in and save the day. But he's got the right sort of attitude and heart, so Rizzo, you can be perfect here. Next we got Rolled, and I think he might be the epitome of adorably head empty, but look how happy he is anyway. And he may be small, but he's incredibly strong. He's a little bit of a bundle of muscle with a secret workout routine, which is how he gets all of it in the first place. Who knows what it is? I think he does a 10-kilometer run, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 jumping jacks. I don't remember the One Punch Man quote. I apologise. That joke kind of fell flat. Next we've got Robin, who has catchphrase la-di-da, which is a lovely melodic catchphrase, I think. She wears feather boas and she looks fabulous while doing so, and just has a load of empty bird cages in her own home. So, I don't know, maybe empty nest syndrome, or she ate all her birds. Don't know what to think of that. Anyway, perfect here from her. Rocco, he tells absolutely terrible puns, which I'm absolutely on board with. He's got a gruff out exterior, but he's actually nice on the inside, as most little cranky villagers seem to be. And his only fear is fear and wasps, which, you know, granted about how many scary things there tend to be in the world, that's not bad. So I'll put you in perfect here for how fearless he actually ends up being. We've got Rocket, who's the final member of the team villager squad, and she's channeling some energy, or I don't know, doing some weird water bending in her photo, which I don't know how she's managed to do that, but fair enough. She protects us from evil, even where there may be none. So perfect here, right there. We got Rodeo, and he's probably like a wizard, you know, maybe he graduated top of class of the wizarding school of Animal Crossing or something like that. His catchphrase is chaps, which is probably meant to be for rodeo bulls, but I like to think he's like got some British slang going on. He's like, what's up, chaps? And he looks like a wild bull, especially with his very demonic looking red eyes, but he's far too chill for that sort of thing, so we've got to put him in perfect here anyway. Rodney, he probably the most infamously hated for some reason villager. I don't know why everyone hates him so much. He's just a cute little guy. His catchphrase is everything is temporary, which is, you know, a little bit frightening, so maybe some people are scared of his weird sort of existentialism. In fact, he spouts off constantly like that sort of thing. And honestly, he just wants to make movies. He's used to critics and that sort of thing, so I don't think the haters hold him back. So Rodney, up into perfect, here you go. 5 stars. Next we have Rod. Being a pirate is alright with me and with Rod. He also has a catchphrase Ace. He's trying to make it happen, and we can make it happen. Ace. I mean, I think Ace already is a thing, so I guess mission success. Anyway, someday he dreams on going on a big adventure, as I imagine most pirates do, with a sort of sense of exploration and freedom. So I hope you get to do it someday, Rod. How much more we got? Okay, we're getting near the end. One Rolf, 314, that's pi. If you divide it by 100 and round it to 2 decimal places, he probably loves the ideas. I mean, look at him. He lives by a river. He's got like skiing gear on, and he apparently used to train by mountainside, so he's probably in peak physical condition. And honestly, he's kind of built like a mountain too. So perfect here, right there. We've got Rooney, he's a boxing kangaroo, training in rain, dodging raindrops. I don't even know if that's even possible, but it's a thing I hear about all the time. And apparently he's a legendary disputed boxer. So I guess he's kind of literally the one-punch man of Animal Crossing. So I'll put him up in there. Next we've got Rory, he's an Imperial Chinese Guardian line, you know, sure. Which apparently, by the way, there's a very famous Chinese tongue twister based off that sort of thing, where it's basically shush. I don't know the rest of it, but there's a minute version which goes like sorry, I said it wrong. You know, that's the kind of what tongue twisters are for. Anyway, he's specifically Vishisa, apparently, due to his maritime theme. Thanks, Wikipedia. I don't know what that means. I think it was like he's based off a certain area which has the Shisa like as a mascot or something. I'm sorry, you should Google Rory Wikipedia yourself and you can learn more about it. I apologise for not being educational about this sort of thing. Anyway, he's got a nice beach house and he requests one too, so we'll put him up in perfect here. Next we've got Roscoe, and his sclera turns yellow when he's angry, so don't, you know, like annoy him or anything like that. And apparently he's often mistaken for a dark red eye floating in the night, which is probably a very horrifying thought, but he's not horrifying. He might be a little bit spooky, but he's an absolutely beautiful voice and he sings everywhere, so we've got to put him up in perfect here. We've got Rosie, key character in the Animal Crossing movie. I think she's like I's BFF along with Margie, and she's like a total celebrity and a crowd of fans wherever she goes. Must be tiring, but I think she kind of lives for the attention. And she's also super helpful, so she's beautiful on the inside and on the outside. Perfect here, right there. Next we've got Rowan, a bit of a Fawn Hollow bias. He's got a craving for adventure. Look at him, he's raring to go. And he may have started sports kind of late, but he puts his whole heart into everything he does, even though he's getting, you know, a bit older into his ages now. And apparently he was super cool in his youth. And honestly, Rowan, super cool now still. Next we've got Ruby, and she's a cute little albino rabbit, and her photo is absolutely adorable as she's sort of like floating aimlessly around in the lost night sky. She's got a moon theme home because she's based off of a mythological moon rabbit in Japanese folklore, I believe, and apparently she's like obsessed with a dark side of a moon, or, you know, Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. I don't really know how that goes though, so I apologise, I can't sing that for you. Next we've got Rudy, who has a red nose just like Rudolph, and has a tendency to repeat himself, and always lands on his feet, just like a cat does, I suppose. So I guess he never falls over, because he's always on his feet. Anyway, cats kind of do that thing. They have like a system in them where they can sort of rotate around using their tail to make sure they always land on their feet. I don't know, there's like a Smarter Everyday video about that sort of thing. I can't recall off the top of my head. Next we've got Sally, who's the middle link of a Hazel Sally Callie chain. She's got droopy eyes and sleeps all day, and she only sleeps all day because she spends all night reading. Honestly, not the greatest habits, but Sally, we've got to put you in perfect 2 anyway for trying to get yourself, well educated, being well read. We've got Samson, he calls you a pipsqueak, and there's a bit of an inferiority complex since he was the runt of a litter. And we're here to tell you, Samson, you don't need to be afraid of that sort of thing. You're top tier and big in our hearts. And anyway, he squeaks softly and he carries a big stiff. No, the big stiff? Whoa, big stick. Sorry, big stick. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say something a little bit inappropriate there. Next we've got Sandy. She's super speedy and reminds everyone about it all the time. She collects a lot of random things in her home, so she's a little bit of a hoarder. And, I like to collect things as well, so I guess we're sort of kindred spirits in that aspect. And, ostriches don't actually hide their head in the sand when they're scared, but she's still named after that for some reason. So I don't know how she feels about being named after sort of, not a myth, what are they called? A common misconception. So, I know, she's fine with it. She just kind of cares about her speed, if anything. Next we've got Savannah, who's a cute zebra, and she is probably from the Savannah herself. And apparently she startles a lot of other villagers a lot of time by wearing zebra print. But don't call her out on that because she has a nasty back kick. Nasty back kick. So watch out for that. Unless she hit you in the head. Because I think a lot of equine-esque animals have very, very devastating backwards kicks. Next we've got Scoot, and he's a duck who was born to swim. He's got a swimming cap, or is it a helmet on? I don't really know. He's short, he's feisty, and he's a little bit paranoid, thinking that everyone's out to get him, which is probably why he's wearing protective gear. I don't know. It's described as a swimming cap. It's also described as a protective helmet. So who knows what it actually is. Next we've got Shari, and she's kind of a person who doesn't take no nonsense from everyone. Be clear with her, don't mess around with her, and you got a great friend. She's cheeky, so her cheeks are rosy and her catchphrase is cheeky, so I don't know whether she's describing her cheeks or particularly describing her personality. And if you start something, she's going to fight back, so just be warned about sort of thing. Next we've got Sheldon, Bazinga, but he makes it sound cool. Well, as cool as it can be, I suppose. He never quits and he always fights to the end. He's got a strong sense of perseverance in that sense, and he understands the importance of road safety. Always look both ways before crossing the street. I think I really said that during this video, but whatever. It's been 2 hours. Maybe I forgot. Next we've got Shep, and he's apparently a sheepdog, so he's probably very good at finding and rounding up the sheep villages and all. I don't know how he sees anything with his fringe like that, a very sort of shaggy dog mane, and he's probably sleeping right now, and we might never know. Now, for someone who's actually sleeping, we've got Sherb right here, who's an absolutely adorable cinnamon roll, who's just dreaming life away in, the land of Nod. And he's got very particular sleeping gear to make sure he has the most comfortable experience possible and can afford to sleep about anywhere. So honestly, that's a superpower in and of itself, so perfect here for you. Next we've got Simon, who absolutely loves playing Simon Says. Maybe because he's Simon, he gets a call all the shots. And he owns a lot of luxury cars and flexes them whenever he can, weirdly. So, I don't know, I guess he's got some secret income from somewhere, or maybe not so secret. He probably pays his taxes. Anyway, sometimes he becomes so hungry he just freezes in place rather than actually eating. So, please take care of yourself, Simon. This is honestly exhausting. I can't believe how long. It's been 2 hours. I had to go get more water. I've drank like 2 litres of water, I think, in the entire process of recording all of this. But we're nearly there. We don't know too much more to go. But anyway. Next we've got Sky, and she's cloudy with a chance of wolf. I don't know. I didn't really think the rest of his joke through. She's fantastically artistic, and she'll teach you about the Renaissance era and different painting techniques. And she will absolutely 100% not eat you and bake you into a pie. Which I don't know why Pocket Camp felt the need to clarify that sort of information, but I don't think Sky could hurt a fly, maybe. A little bit worrying, but anyway, next we've got Sly. We also can't even see him. Where is he? All you see is his floating eyes, his very green, vertical slit eyes. He lives in a jungle as is his natural habitat, and his amiibo card is really adorable. If you haven't seen it, he's basically sort of like celebrating. He's kind of like, yeah, and it's very cute, so you should go look it up. So I'm going to put him in perfect here. And next we've got Snake. I never actually played any Metal Gear Solid games, so I don't actually know. I only know that from, I don't even know where I know that from, I guess just a meme. But anyway, he's a ninja who has trouble hiding because of his bright pink ears. You would have thought you'd probably put like a hood over the top of it or something, or I don't know, maybe it's uncomfortable. Anyway, he busts out the Naruto run only when he needs to, like right now. Look, he's doing it right now. Meow, sprinting all the way up to perfect here. Sorry, I'm losing it. Next we've got Snooty. And her name's Snooty, actually Snooty Villager, so fair enough. Another descriptive name right there. And she asks for forgiveness, not permission, which is a little bit worrying, but and she's got good traits as well, because she'll judge you solely based on how you decorate your room. I don't know if that's a good trait, but anyway, we'll put her in perfect here, because I believe in her. Next we've got Soleil, who's kind of got the Ganguro Gyaru style, and which is a very popular sort of. I'm not sure if it's popular as much nowadays. I think a more popular one is Kogaru style, but I'm also not an expert in Japanese fashion, so I don't know. She's also trying to knit the world's largest sweater. I don't know how that's going on. Maybe she's still going to this day, but I'm sure once she's finished, Guinness Book of World Records will happily give it to her. And she's a bit of a summer girl and very much fits that aesthetic too, with a nice tan. So we'll put her up in perfect here. Next we've got Sparrow, who's just wistfully looking out into the ocean and just contemplating about life. Beautiful. Anyway, he's expert at UFO machines, which means that, like, by the UFO machines, I mean, like, the Japanese crane games. He'll win you whatever prize you want. And her name's Sparrow, and he's kind of like a Eurasian Troop Sparrow, so, you know, loving the spree of self-descriptive names right here. Next we've got Spike, he's a bit of a badass, he's got Sky, and he's got golden horns. I don't know why I put that in exclamation marks here, but I'm sure that was something I was very enthused about. Or maybe, oh yeah, his horn's actually golden, that's probably why. He's a punk rock skater boy, so don't say see you later boy. I already made that joke of Brie. Clearly I was running out of material when it came to his later villages. And anyway, apparently every single cranky villager looks intimidating and sweet, and Spike is one of them. So, you know, Spike, you have a cool Happy Home Paradise customization. I'm going to put you in perfect here. Next we've got Spork, who apparently is called Crackle in UK. Probably based off cracklings, which is like a pork product. I don't really know what it is actually in actuality. But Spork is a very useful and versatile tool, and he's very gentleman-like apparently in the class act, and he loves school a lot because all his previous house was schooling themed. So fair enough. Spork or Crackle, Sprackle. I think that's a word actually. Anyway, we'll put you up there in perfect here. Next we've got Sprinkle. He's a cute little swirl hair with a sprinkle on top, and she loves to leave footprints in the snow. And she probably has a sweet tooth because she has a very sweet personality too. So we've got to put her up in perfect here. Next we've got Sprocket. He's a robot who looks so extremely fed up with you, which is fair enough. I'd imagine most robots would be, if they had like the capacity to think in that sort of aspect. He's got quite a young heart and probably quite young components too. And you know, the most mysterious thing about him is we have no idea who created him. Who could even create someone like Sprocket? I don't know if we've had a roboticist village yet, but my money's on them. Next we've got Static, and when he smiles, apparently he looks like he's up to no good because he's got quite a mischievous smile. He complains when nothing's happened to him, he complains when something does, you know, as like old cranky villagers do, complains them all the time. But he still lives his life with honesty and integrity, and you know, he's a squirrel of character, so we got to give him that. Next we've got Stella. He's got a very simple, relaxed expression smile, just, you know, you look at it and you feel relaxed, I think. She knits hand-woven scarves if you're feeling chilly. Maybe out of her own wool, I don't really know. And she always has her red rosy cheeks, no matter when she's hot or cold. So I guess either it's blush or she's constantly flushed, which, I don't know. Maybe she should go to a doctor about that sort of thing. Next we've got Sterling, and he's a valiant knight in shining armour. But the biggest complaint I have in this entire video is why does Sterling have a sci-fi themed Happy Home Paradise customization instead of like a medieval themed one? It's crazy, but maybe he likes sci-fi, and I can't blame him for that. Anyway, he lives as a literal jail ward in a medieval dungeon. Maybe he just is infused by the technology of the future now that he's been exposed to it. So Starling, you got to be perfect here. Next we got Stinky, and Stinky seems like quite a mean nickname or whatever, but maybe it's his wrestling alias, I don't really know. He's probably a pro wrestler, I don't know. Is he a face? Is he a heel? Does he turn between them? I don't know any other wrestling terms. I haven't seen any, like, WWE, anything like that. But maybe he just hasn't watched that mask in a while, so who knows. Next we've got Stitches, who is a literal teddy bear, and I do love my plushies, and I want to make it clear he's not a toy. Or he wants to make it clear that he's not a toy, but I'm also going to make it clear for him. Anyway, he's bright and colourful, and he's sure to bring colour to your life and village if you have him, so we'll put him in perfect here. Next we've got Stu, and he reminds me that there's this TV show in UK on, I don't know if it's on CBeebies or CBBC, but it was called Story Makers, and one of the stories that they make was about this blue cow, and Stu reminds me of that blue cow. Anyway, he can do some sick bicycle tricks, and he's probably very proud of his huge nostrils, so we'll put him up here in perfect here. Next we've got Sydney, which is the most popular city in Australia, and popular just like Sydney is in our hearts. I know that wasn't a very good transition, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, she's a free spirit, she's content on just like going along with the wind, and just living life as it comes, and for some reason her e-reader card only talks about her nose looking like it's stuck on her face, which seems a little bit mean, so we're going to put her up in perfect here. We've got Sylvana, who reminds me of Sylvanian families, which is very nostalgic for me personally, and she's put down so many things on her bucket list, but I hope she can manage to do them all, and I hope one of them was living in Fawn Hollow, because she has when she's gone. And she's also apparently based off a Japanese giant flying squirrel, so she wants to clearly soar in the sky and reach her dreams of high aspirations. Next we've got Silver, who's got a very sort of mysterious pose on. Who's this mysterious kangaroo and mysterious Joey? I have to think of what baby kangaroo is called. Her child takes after her, like really takes after her. I mean, they look almost identical. And her kid is apparently a fantastic swimmer, even at such a young age, which is fair enough. Put them up here. You know, maybe they'll win some gold medal in the Olympics someday. Next who do we got next? We got T-Bone. Probably quoting Bart from The Simpsons. I don't know what that means. but probably made sense when I wrote it. Maybe his catchphrase is something relating to that. His happy in paradise, he just wants a place that sets his soul on fire. I don't know what that means. I haven't done his customization, but I did have the option, but I was like, I have no idea what this means, so I didn't do it. And T-Bones are considered pretty high quality steaks, as I understand it, so, you know, we've got to put him in a high quality tier, because where else would he go? Next we've got Tabby with me wow, which is a top tier catchphrase. It's a best blend of being like excited for something and also being quite overly cheesy at the same time. Loves horror apparently, wants to live in a spooky hospital in Happy in Paradise, and I cannot wait to do her customization. And I think her in Dobot's no Mori, the original Japanese Animal Crossing, her t-shirt is like tomato juice soaked t-shirt, which really looks like bloodstains, which really got to lean into that horror aesthetic, which I respect Tabby. Next we've got Tad, positively beaming in the rain. Probably smiling so bright that a rainbow will form. He only is ever working out or sleeping. He's got his life sorted, and he's actually pretty graceful as an athlete. Maybe he could be a ballerina, I don't know. Put him up in perfect tier though. Next we've got Tammy. Her favourite saying is she's always down to monkey around, so she's probably a bit of a party girl. And she's literally so thirsty. Her Happy Home Paradise and Happy Home Designer requests are just about her favourite drinks. And honestly, I'm quite thirsty as well, which is why I drank so much water. And apparently her birthday changed from April 1st to April 2nd in New Leaf, so I don't really know how that works, sort of like logistically, but put her in perfect tier anyway. Next is Tammy. She loves pasta. I love pasta. Literally never been ill. I literally never been ill. That's not true. I've been ill. She's got stronger genes than me. Anyway, or she's literally never asked for help. But it's got to tell you, Tammy, it's okay to ask for help. You know, you may be capable, but allow people to extend out a hand to help you should you need it. You don't have to carry all the burden yourself. Next we've got Tangy, who's a fruity cat full of zest and zeal and probably orange juice. She's always upbeat and she gives everything her all. And she's on KK. I can't speak. She's a character on KK birthday, so she's here to celebrate your birthday every single year. Put her up in perfect tier for that. Next we've got Tank. He's built like one, and he's so strong he could probably run through a wall. Oh yeah! He's also a huge nerd apparently. He just wants to play some tabletop games, so we'll put him up in perfect tier. We can play some D&D sometime, I'm sure. Tank. Tasha, she's judging me. I feel very judged. That's already like immediate perfect tier because I love that sort of energy. She's also probably a skunk, which is cool. Because one thing I will say about Animal Crossing, it's really cool when they take a villager, a base villager, and even if they don't want to make a whole new skunk villager species, because that involves creating like 8 different villages at least. It's cool that they give these sort of patterns and designs to other species anyway to incorporate them into the game. Anyway, she's super mysterious. She's got secrets. It seems to insinuate she's kind of like a spy. I don't know if she is or not, but you know, I hope she's got no dirt on me. Next we've got Teddy. He's a big old teddy bear, and he's not a sore loser, which is fantastic. We always like a graceful loser, and he's relaxed and he believes himself, which is aspiring confidence. And talking about confidence, look at Tex. Look at this confidence he's got in his photo. He's a rock star. He wants his own studio to practice in. He's probably got the coolest band room I've ever seen, and because it's icy. Ha ha ha. But anyway, he's serious about everything. He's here to get paid and get out. So you know, fair enough. Get perfect, get out. Here's Tia. She's got an adorable little maid dress on. She'll invite you over for a positively delightful tea party, and she's probably serving you some delicious hot tea right now. And she also collects teacups in her pristine collection. Honestly, I want to see a teacup collection. Very cute design. Perfect here right there. Next we've got Tiffany. Her fur is literally like fishnet stockings and like silk gloves, which I don't know how to feel about that, but, you know, fair enough. Animal Crossing. She wants to live a glitz and glamorous life as a celebrity. She's something fits apart. And she's a very kind side, despite the rude facade that she puts on a lot of the time. Timber is apparently a walking pine cone, because everything she has is related to pine. She worries what others think about her, but everyone loves her, though, so don't even worry about it, Timber. You're a fantastic person. Also, her starry sanctuary in Happy Home Paradise is a fantastically fun customization. Lovely aesthetic. I would love to live in the house I made for her. Next we've got Tipper, which is named after cow tipping, which is like not a thing, as I understand it, because cows don't sleep standing up or something. Anyway, she's pushy because she's a Virgo and I'm a Virgo too. I don't think I'm particularly pushy, but whatever. Anyway, she's she's got a house which is sort of got like a studio apartment, I suppose. Everything is literally just in one room, which I gotta say, there's probably one of the more livable houses if you were to bring it to real life. Next we've got Tom. Apparently he's a former bantamweight junior world boxing champion, which is insane. We got a literal ex-champion, world champion on our hand. But now he's just a, chill, casual alley cat. He just lives in a garage, probably fix your car. I don't know anything about cars, so you know who I'm going to. Next we've got truffles, and honestly, truffles are delicious. I had this like truffle cheese once. I can't remember what the cheese was exactly. It was probably one of the most delicious cheeses I've ever had. Her happy home paradise request is for a quiz show practice because she's a trivia master. Apparently, maybe she goes on game shows. She should go on Only Connect. I think she'll do great. And she wants to be a star, but she can't figure out what she wants to be a star in. I'm telling you, Truffles, do it. Be trivia. Be a trivia star. I think it'll work out very well for you. Next, we've got Tucker, a woolly mammoth. So he's very much not extinct, the last of his species, though. Everything related to him is fossil and archaeology related, and he's very admirable with tusks. So we'll put him up here for the majestic tusks he's got. Next we've got Tutu, and she's going to cheer you on with all her heart. Actual cheerleader. She's immune to brain freeze, which is quite a superpower. And Shirakuma is a very popular shaved ice Japanese dessert, which is designed to look like a sort of bear, if I recall. And that explains her sort of love for all these icy and frozen treats. So we'll put her in perfect here. Next we've got Twiggy. She requests basically like a party mansion or something, I forget. She's quite literally the most partiest of all party girls. She's bubbly, she's bright personality, and her feathers are too, so perfect here for me. Tybalt, named after probably Tybalt and Romeo and Juliet, which is very cultured. I don't remember Romeo and Juliet, but I have read it. Because of like English literature or something. He's that clutch power hitter you need if you need to get that grand slam in baseball. I don't really know much about baseball, but still. And look how proud of he is in that photo, He's in front of a setting sun. Baseball cap on his head, probably his team that he plays for. I don't know. Next we've got Ursala. Poor unfortunate souls. I know she's a bit of a know-all, but that's because she's always right. She's got a green thumb, and she's fantastic at Ikebana, probably. And she knows all the flower meanings. So if you want to give a perfect flower gift to someone, ask her about what sort of meaning you want to convey, and she'll tell you exactly what you should give them. Next we've got Velma, and probably named after Velma from Scooby-Doo. She's got a little tuft on for her chin, which I think is quite cute and very unique, I think, in Northern Goat Villages. And she's super smart and wants to have her in the school. And I think she'll be a fantastic teacher. Next we've got Vespa, who's probably got the most simplistic face in the entirety of the Animal Crossing New Horizons series. It's just like colon, close bracket. She runs a tailor's and laundromat from her own home, so if you ever need a bit of clothing fixing upping, go to Vespa. And apparently, she lets you count her to fall asleep, if that even works. I can't say I've ever counted sleep to fall asleep, but maybe I'll start counting Vespa to try and test it out if I get a bit of a sleepless night. Next, we've got Vic, who's a literal Viking. That's pretty cool. And he's got a ship-themed house, which is, cool as well, for like with giant Viking, what do they call longboats? I think that's a name. But no one actually knows if he's a Viking bull descendant or not. So maybe he's just sort of likes the aesthetic. But, fair enough. Next we've got Victoria, who I always thought was part of the villager, the team squad or whatever, but she's not. She's a racehorse, which makes sense. She's super speedy as well, and she's even got like a racehorse name. She's called Scent Arrow in Japanese, which I'm surprised that name didn't carry on over to the English versions. She's got like a racetrack, like derby themed in her home, and I don't really know how racehorses work in Animal Crossing. I don't know if she's like a jockey or she's meant to be a runner. I guess she's a runner, or the horse that gets... I don't know if you need jockeys in Animal Crossing. Let's not think about it too much. Anyway, next we've got Violet. She apparently prefers pearls over diamonds as her best friend. And I gotta say, Palkia is pretty cool. But, I don't know. Palkia, Dialga, which do I think is cooler? They're both pretty cool. She's got some crazy strength, which you can definitely rely on. She's a very reliable character. And she loves cozy and comfy spaces and just wants a cozy eatery for her neighbourhood as her Happy Home Paradise request. And honestly, I'll vibe with that. Next we've got Vivian, more Fawn Hollow bias, the pinnacle of elegance. She wearing brand names, you know it. She's very particular how things are arranged, so don't touch anything in her house. She's very particular and meticulous about those sort of things, just like I am. And she pays attention to the smallest details, even things you won't notice, like the fact that she's actually a dog, not a wolf, apparently. Who knew? Next we've got Vladimir, and he's a very stern looking bear, but also bright pink. And he wants a secret underground lair, which apparently is just a mining cave. Fun fact, if you wanted to know, the Japanese request is not secret underground layer. It's actually like entrance to an underground city, which explains like half of the furniture choices that he has in his Happy Home Paradise request. And apparently people nibble on his head because it tastes like cotton candy, or they think it tastes like cotton candy. So we'll put him in perfect here for that. Next we've got Wade. He's probably fantastic at fishing, or at least wading through like waist-high rivers, which I've had to do once on a school trip. It was not a pleasant experience. His house is like an icy aquarium, which I guess he's good at ice fishing as well, which, you know, I can't say I've ever been. He loves to cook, he loves to camp, he loves to experience danger, which is, you know, kind of a thrilling and scary combination all in its own right, but perhaps he just likes to live on the high of life. Next we've got Walker. He's got a very sort of sly wink going on. I like to imagine he's doing like finger guns and everything at you. He loves cycling, so he's probably athletic and probably has the most built leg muscles you've ever seen. And he's always super calm, no matter what happens. Now the question is whether he's aware of what's happening at all times or not, but, you know, that's not for us to judge. Next we've got Walt. Well, and every time I hear Walt, I just think of Waltzing Matilda. Well, no, but, you know, I can't really do that joke for Matilda. I guess I think of Walt Disney as well, now I think about it. He's like a sensei, you know, in a dojo. He's lived through different period dramas that he loves so much, and he'll probably train you up in the way of something. The way of a warrior? Bushido? I don't know, that's more like a samurai thing. Anyway, I don't know how he got that scar, but you don't want to see what he did to the other guy. Next we got Walt Jr., and he knows that beauty's skin deep, but Walt Jr. is just one of the kindest frogs ever. And even he personally says age before beauty. And I think his warts does make him beautiful. It makes him very distinct in his own right. And he's perfectly content himself a minute. Anyway, look at that smile. He's happy. And if he's happy, we should be happy. Next we've got Weber. He's got like all the gear and he's got the musical talent to be a one-duck band. And he's not afraid of his inner child, you know. He lets that loose every so often. Even as he gets older, he's got a very childish heart. And even though he may look lost, he may look confused and that sort of thing, he's very capable. He's a very sort of my-pace sort of person. So we'll put him up in perfect here. Oh, slowly getting there. We're in my home stretch now, and my voice is very, very much dying, but, you know, I've got to persevere through to the very end, because I'm sure Wendy would want me to. She loves watermelon so much that she decided to wear one, which is, you know, fair enough. Whenever she gets a bad war day, she just shaves it all off, which is very brave, I think, but I guess it must grow back pretty quickly. And she's forever the optimist, because every cloud has a silver lining, which is her favourite saying. Aww. Next we've got Whitney, who is, very iconic, and I gotta say, Elsa, you better show yourself out the door, because we've got a new Ice Queen here. She's a Kakijoban Dobits no Morista. She comforted I when Margie left, because she was just like drinking at the roost, which, by the way, the roost was like an analogous to like a late night bar, but obviously you can't have a bar in Animal Crossing, you gotta be child friendly and all that sort of thing. She's very, very iconic in that movie. Anyway, her fur is impeccable. You know it, I know it, she knows it, everyone knows it. Perfect. There's no better tier for her. Next we've got Willow and Willow. Willow trees are my favourite tree, and she's literally a golden willow. I think her e-reader card is also saying that she's like a daughter of royalty, so she might be like a princess or something. Who knows what she's doing on these like Loki Islands and all about the place, but fair enough. But apparently she's got the demeanour and the presence of a noblewoman, so we'll put her up in perfect tier like that. Next we've got Winnie. Look, she's mid-race. She's winning that race. All she does is win, 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 no matter what. You know that song? I don't remember who sings it, so anyway. She's got good horse sense. She doesn't even know if horse sense is a good or a bad thing, which, by the way, horse sense is just it's just common sense, basically. It's being like grounded, it's very practical sort of sense. And she wants stables to look after racehorses. And again, this gives very sort of strange implications. Like, she wants to look after racehorses, and Victoria's a racehorse. Victoria was a racehorse, 2-2 was 1-2, 1-1-1, 1 race end, 2-2, 1-1-2. Sorry, it just came to mind randomly. I don't know if she wants to be Victoria's roommate. Oh my god, we're roommates. I get it now. Anyway, we got Wolfgang. Yeah, by the way, he's got really pretty eyes. Look at his eyes. Like, he's got nice sort of like mascara on. He's got orange eyeshadow. Fantastic. And he does whatever he wants, whenever he wants, you know. He's his own sort of lone wolf through and through. So we've got to put him in perfect here. Next we've got Yuka. She just likes to vibe out in the jungle, probably eating eucalyptus leaves, as I'd imagine most koalas do. She's so awesome that she outshines other awesome people, and she also forgets that she isn't always right. But, you know, she's right in this aspect that she deserves to belong in perfect here. Next we've got Zell, and he's just chill. It's just like he kind of just like woke up with his photo. He's got his morning coffee in hand. He's still got his bathrobe on. No, what's it called? Sleeping gown? No, I always get it confused. Is it nightgown or sleeping gown? Dressing gown, bathrobe, whatever. He's just got that on. He lives in a penthouse suite, so he gets with a whole grand piano in it, and he's got a fantastic view of the city. And canonically, apparently very hard to dislike. So we'll put him in perfect here, because I don't dislike him. And rounding up the base characters, we got Zucker. And by the way, takoyaki is absolutely delicious. If you get the opportunity to try takoyaki, try it. Takoyaki is probably my favourite my favourite Japanese street food at the very least. He's probably also fantastic at making them. I'd buy his takoyaki. I don't imagine he'd make octopus ones. Maybe he makes cheese ones. Those are also very tasty. And he's also got like a straight up, just like a toothpick sticking into his head. I imagine that must hurt, but he doesn't seem to be bothered by it. So I guess I won't be. And I'll just casually put him up in perfect tier. Now we're moving on to the Sanrio collaboration characters, starting off with Chai, who is a Sanrio cinnamon roll, because she's a cinnamon roll too. And I bet her room smells absolutely delicious. And she probably keeps a really nice tea, that hat of hers, you know, big cuphead energy. Next we've got Chelsea, who's based off My Melody, and she's just as sweet as a Melody. I don't know, I kind of just use that joke. Anyway, she loves pound cake like My Melody does, and she always brings around cookie dough, I suppose, to snack on, which I don't know if you should necessarily do that all the time, but if she likes it, she likes it. Also, her Happy Home Paradise request of having a fairy tale forest is a super cute idea. You know how much I love a fairy tale aesthetic, so I'll put it up here. Next we have Étoile, which means star in French, which is based off what's it called? Little twin stars, and Étoile sparkles just as bright as both of them. She's born on Christmas, apparently, or Toy Day, I suppose. Just like Kiki and Lalo are born on Eve. Actually, I guess Christmas Eve is Toy Day, now I think about it, but still. So she's got a very festive birthday, and she just wants to make the world a better place to be. To quote that line from Avenue Q and Schadenfreude. Making the world a better place to be. Anyway, next we have Marty, who is based off Sanrio's Pom Pom Pudding, and he's full of good cheer as well. He's got an iconic brown beret that Pom Pom Pudding often wears, although I think it's just an acorn hat. And he's also on a quest to taste all the pudding flavours in the world, so good on him. Next we've got Rilla, who's based off Sanrio's Hello Kitty, of course, who's just as iconic as her counterpart, and her goal is to be Kitty White, so she wants to be exactly like Hello Kitty. You know, that's quite aspirational. Hello Kitty's quite a nice character, and she's even wearing the same Hello Kitty shirt she bought since she was a little girl. May not fit her all that well anymore, but, you know, the nostalgia is there. So I've got to put her in perfect here. And rounding up the Sanrio characters, we have Toby, who's based off Keropi, and he'll leap straight into your heart. He also has a fantastic collection of well, I guess the full name is Keropi, merchandise and paraphernalia. And by the way, Kero is just a very fun word to say. It's basically the equivalent of ribbit in Japanese. Kero. And the final batch of villagers is the villagers introduced in the 2.0 update. And we're in the final stretch now. My voice is dead. This video is so long, but we're going to power on through. And we're starting off with Ace, who is alphabetically the first in the list of all the Animal Crossing villagers, so canonically he has to be number one, I suppose. He's always going to flex and pose for a photo, just like he's doing right now. I mean, he's not really flexing, but still. And he's an avid fisherman, and, you know, and he's the first one to ever ignore the phrase, the first one goes to blabbers. Because he always catches a fish, but immediately releases them. Wild, I know. Anyway, we've got Azalea. She's got a very pretty flowery nose, and she's just as beautiful as a rose, and just as thorny, apparently. You know, I guess she was kind of born to be a flower lover. So I'll put her up in perfect tears, because I like flowers too. Next, we've got Cephalopod, who's an absolutely fantastic photo, just either being abducted or coming to abduct or coming in peace. I don't really know. I also don't know how his tentacles work, because I can't imagine how robotics has enough flexibility to have a tentacles. Even like Boston Dynamics, I don't think could replicate his, but here we go. And also he can like shoot lasers from his eyes, or okay, 90% chance he can like shoot lasers from his eyes. I believe he can, and that's pretty cool. Next we've got Chadwick, and Chadwick, more like Chadwick, I don't know. It's a terrible joke, you know, I was clearly losing it when I was writing this. I don't even know what Chadwick is. Is it a name? I don't know what it references, but hey ho, it's pretty cool. He's got cute earmuffs on because his ears get cold, and he's always that guy who wears a t-shirt when it's freezing out, but apparently the cold doesn't bother him, but he's still got earmuffs on, so I don't really know how that works. And we got Faith, and I've got to say, Faith, I can't unsee Faith looking like an orange koala wearing like a human face mask on top of her face. But anyway, she's the life of the party. It's always a fun time to have her around. And her favourite saying is, never let the mind be what holds you back. So she believes in you. Awesome. Next we got Fret. Might have been a little bit of a jump cut there, but okay, we're so nearly at the end. We've got Fret as we're lining up. I can't even think straight anymore, I'm going to be perfectly honest. His favourite saying that he's in the prime of his life. Damn right you are, buddy. His house is a little bit of a mess though, but maybe he just likes it that way, you know. Some people are just like, bless this mess. The mess is their organisation. But anyway, he's got his life together up the way, so we'll put him in perfect here. We got Ione, who's actually a very pretty design, I'm not gonna lie. She's a starry-eyed squirrel who's lost in space. Her photo is absolutely gorgeous. Look at it. Look at her eyes. They're so pretty. I believe she even like glows in the dark or something like that. And I want her to chat with Celeste about constellations because I think they'd be fantastic friends. So I've got to put her up in perfect here. Next we've got Marlowe, and I wanted to do a Godfather impression, but I haven't seen Godfather, nor can I do a good impression. But you come into Marlowe's house on the day his daughter is to be married. I can't even speak straight anymore. I know, he runs some mysterious underground organisation, which I think we can all understand. So, don't go in it as bad side, eh? Gabish? Yeah, that is his catchphrase. It's not capiche, it's gabish. And I don't know, maybe capiche is copyrightable. Anyway, now we're Petrie, who's possibly a mad scientist. I don't really know what sort of experiments she gets up to, because sometimes she spends absolute days in her labs when she's near a breakthrough and starves herself, so please give her some food. And despite, by the way, that she's wearing these really thick, opaque glasses, her eye game is on point. She has fantastic eyeshadow and fantastic eyelashes as well. Next we've got Quinn, and her style is absolutely impeccable. I mean, she's got a fantastically awesome, cool hair streak and fantastic eyeliner too. She always gets dressed even if it's just going to the grocery store, because she's got a reputation of fashion and style to uphold. And she's so cool that she'll probably tell you that you're cool too. So up you go, Quinn. Next we've got Rio, who's got Rio Carnival vibes, which seems super fun, and got a star on the cheek too, to, I suppose, fit into that party atmosphere. She apparently uncontrollably dances to music whenever she hears it, which honestly sounds like a bit of a curse, but I don't know, she kind of agrees with it. She cares about eating healthy, and perhaps far too far an extreme degree. We have Roswell, who's secretly a robot because he's got giant robotic eyes which rotate like screws, which I don't really know how that works. And apparently he's fully transcended and has reached enlightenment and fascinated by what's out there. And to be honest, who isn't fascinated by what's out there? We've got Sasha, who's utterly adorable, and also the only male fashionista who has fashion as a hobby. He plays board games with his plushies at his home, and that is super adorable, and he's an expert at taking selfies, and he will probably take the best photo of you you've ever had. We've got Shino, who's insanely popular right now, I suppose, the new Raymond of Animal Crossing, who's based off of Hanya masks used in Japanese no theatre to represent a female jealous demon spirit or something like that. Her birthday's on Halloween, and her favourite saying suggests that she might actually just be like a vengeful spirit demon, so I don't really know what to feel about that. But it turns out she's like super friendly, so don't be too worried that she's not going to steal your soul or anything, and for that she gets perfect here. Next we've got Sun Wukong from A Journey to the West. That's awesome. And he's quite literally Qi Tian Dashan, which is the great sage equal to heaven. I don't know. Oh, because his name is Tian Sheng. And his happy home paradise request is that he wants beaches. And just like when he ate a load. I don't really know the story of Journey to the West that well, but he in the story of Journey to the West, Sun Wukong ate a load of peaches and it ruined some sort of feast, I think. Anyway, we're going to put him in perfect here because that's quite funny. And finally, to wrap this all off, we have Zoe, and she's got an absolutely adorable catchphrase of Zoo-Zidoo, and she's a listener who will listen to your woes and comfort you. I hope she'll listen to my woes, that my voice is absolutely wrecked. Zoe, this was really hard, this was a lot of things to do, and she can also write using her notes, which is particularly impressive. So there we go, we've got a final look through our final tier list, and I suppose I should zoom out a little bit so you can actually see the entire thing. So we got every single villager is in perfect tier, if you couldn't tell, and if you can tell, I suppose, by this point, this is a bit of a satirical joke thing. Obviously, this is not a particularly serious tier list. I kind of just wanted to do something a little bit more fun in that sort of regard. I'm not really the type to try and objectively judge these tier lists and that sort of thing, because to me there can't really be a tier list objectively rating the Animal Crossing villagers, because every villager is someone's favourite, and there's many reasons to love each and every villager through their design, their personality, and most importantly, the villagers that mean the most to you are going to be the ones that you have stories with, ones that you've had since childhood, who you became best friends with. Maybe you hated their design at first, but then eventually you warmed up to them. And it doesn't matter if the programming makes them seem like there's only 8 different villagers really or whatever, because the important part is the memory that you hold of them, the stories that you hold of them. So if I want you to take anything away from this, is go make friends with all the villagers that come to your island, because they're not going to be here forever. Even if you hate them, even if you think they have a detestable design of that sort of thing, they're still villagers in the same thing, and they all deserve our love, and everyone's got a favourite. So cherish the ones which stay, and make friends with the one which come and then go. And yeah, I suppose that's that. This is the ultimate Animal Crossing villager tier list, definitely 100% objective, and honestly it was really quite a lot of fun to write and talk about, despite the fact that my voice is absolutely dead and I can't speak straight anymore. So if you've made it this far, wow, that's commitment, because this is like almost 3 hours long. Let me know in the comments who your favourite is, and why, and any stories you've had with any of your Animal Crossing villagers, because I would absolutely love to hear them. But anyway, this video was made because I've done 2 years, I suppose, of this YouTube channel, 2 years of uploading New Horizons videos, and I kind of wanted to celebrate and do something silly and special for that sort of thing, so I couldn't think of a better way to do it than the ultimate Animal Crossing tier list. So thank you for your support for 2 years of New Horizons videos, or perhaps even if you just started supporting like because of this video, or if you've been here from the beginning. Here's to another 2 years of Animal Crossing New Horizons. So until next time, bye bye for now.